Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pipeline Podcast, episode 146. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here after 2.5 years, easily our most discussed topic on this show. The whole reason I really started this show, we are here to talk about Superman, baby. Let's fucking go! Holy
Hell yeah.
shit. I am joined by two of my very good friends. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's my good friend Connor and Adriel back on the show. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Surprised. I did not know I was in the intro.
Yeah, you got a little intro going again. It looked great.
Thank you. It's always fun seeing people's first be like, wait, is that me? That's me.
Feels like I'm going on Saturday Night Live or something. They got the
Right?
the big graphic.
I feel like I'm underdressed now.
Yeah, same. Where's my suit?
No, incredible. No, I mean, I think you guys were always kind of the ones I wanted for this episode. Obviously, the whole show, I started doing the show when James Gunn kind of announced that, the big announcement. I think it was the fourth
whole
episode.
slate?
Yeah. We started
Right,
it
man.
November of 2022, and then he announced he was doing it in December.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't
Connor,
realize it was that long.
yeah, no, it's been a minute. Connor, one of the first episodes of the whole show is us doing our predicting slate, which is still one of my favorite episodes. That's such a fun episode. And then obviously Connor, while you were on the show as the co-host, we talked so much Superman. Every week it was updates and updates and updates of what we thought it was going to be and updates. So you were someone I was okay, I need to get Connor on for this. And
right.
Adriel, you are my DC connoisseur over on the show. Every time you've been on the show, it's been out DC.
Yeah.
For Blue Beetle, for Doom Patrol, for Superman and Lois along with Connor, and now Superman. And I feel like it's a nice little front corner to be well, we saw the end of the Arrowverse, and now we're here for the beginning of this new DC universe. How are you guys doing? How has life been for you folks?
Pretty good.
I feel like I can see colors now. A lot brighter. Everything is just a whole lot brighter.
Yeah. Sure.
Connor, I heard that you helped an old woman out of a train.
I did, yeah.
Wasn't it?
I was getting off the train the other day, and this woman was carrying her bag, and I was like, "Hey, do you want a hand?" And she was like, "I would love a hand. That's so nice, thank you." And I did that, and I was like, "Superman, it's it's bringing people together, making people do good
the
things."
world is healing.
Yeah. I know, right?
Are you, Connor? Are you secretly Superman? Is this something you want to tell us?
I think we should move past that topic because I don't know who's watching this, and I don't think it's.
He's not wearing hypno glasses.
Yeah, I mean, glasses I'm sorry to say this, but your shirt literally says Man of Steel.
No, it doesn't.
Oh shit! No, it says Manhattan.
Let me just get the hypno glasses on real quick.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit! Oh,
who are you?
Oh,
I
think you invited the wrong. Yeah, I think you invited the wrong person.
Did you see that TikTok they did where it was Jimmy, Lois, and Clark, and then Clark's just sitting there with the glasses, and then he takes the glass off, and Jimmy's just like,
"Yes,
how are you?"
Yes,
it's so funny.
Yes, it was so good.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, today's episode, I really just want to focus on Superman. I know we all have many thoughts on the movie. I feel like this conversation can come many various ways about just the movie itself, how we felt, our experience with it, also just the future of everything as well, because again, this is the launching point of a brand new universe. There's some teases that have come off from this. There were some James Gunn quotes this week about new shows and projects that he's pushing forward. So there's a lot of things to talk about here today. But I want to start off with our Critter Spotlight segment here on the episode, where we get to know our guests here a little bit. Now, Connor, you've obviously done this before. We had a really, really good segment about nostalgia and how it's hurting if it's hurting our view on media and our view on time and stuff like that.
Ooh,
Adriel,
good topic.
yeah, no, for sure. Adriel, this is your first time on the show. And I was like, all right, what do I want to ask him about? Or like, what do I want to talk to him about? And like, when we were talking about Superman, you brought up like social media and how you've kind of taken this kind of step away from the socials and how you think it's maybe bettered yourself. Do you want to speak on that? Like, what was your kind
Yeah.
of journey over the last couple of years? Kind of like taking a step back and kind of doing your own thing.
Yeah, I think that was just more so in general. Like a couple of
Mm.
years ago, I kind of realized that I was like, I'm always on my phone and I'm not getting anything that I actually want done. So I
Sure,
kind of just limited it. I'm not completely cut off. I just have
sure,
like literally only two social media accounts. I have a
right.
TikTok, which I'm on all the time, or Instagram, which I'm never on ever. Um, so those are pretty much the only two things. And even then, my algorithm hasn't fully realized that I'm a comic book nerd yet because I don't get a lot of that in my feed in the algorithm. So because of that, I was somehow able to avoid literally any talk about the movie. Like
Yeah,
So
somehow,
jealous.
like
that's insane.
every time a scene showed up on Superman, I was just like, "Whoa!" Like I did not expect this to happen. I did not know anything about this movie. And honestly, like props to the trailers
Mm.
because me and my fiance we would watch the trailers together because I would force her, obviously. Um, and we both looked at each other like, "Wow, that's such a cool shot." I still have no idea what the hell this movie is going to be about, but cool.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
that's
think
No.
it definitely elevated my like viewing experience of the movie just
yeah,
because those big moments were big for
yeah.
me where I actually get to have my oh shit moment when it came to them.
Right.
So jealous.
No, I think that's probably the way to go, to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
not to pivot
absolutely.
on like nerd stuff like already, but like, like I feel like me and Connor especially, like we kind of know most things before they happen.
Yeah,
We kind of are either hear about it or we've like discussed it to a point where it's like it maybe we didn't
we've
know it,
heard
but
about
we
it.
theorized it so much that we kind of assumed it might happen or we thought
Yeah,
it could happen.
Yeah.
And I think you have the more authentic viewing experience as someone who's like, what the hell, this is awesome, this
yeah.
cameo I didn't know about and this thing we didn't
Yeah.
know about. And I feel like Connor, was there any cameo in here that you didn't know was going to be in the movie?
Only Peacemaker. Like we knew Maxwell Lord was going to be in it.
Yeah,
Um, the like even the Supergirl thing, we knew Supergirl was going to be in it, and I remember even the week before the film came out, we were
Did we?
talking about Supergirl on here, and I
yeah,
was like, I bet you the Supergirl scene is going to be the last scene in the film where she comes back
yeah,
to
you
pick
called that.
Crypto, and that's exactly what happened. Like I still loved the film so much, but everything about it had been theorized or discussed, or just talking it like through the interviews or the clips or whatever. That I was like, oh, okay, so we know where this is
Yeah,
going. But it was still great. I still loved it. I had a great time with
sure.
it.
No,
Yeah.
for
I mean,
sure.
but that's just kind of how it is now, where it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, but I think we've talked about this before, where it's like there were a couple of studies that happened a year ago where like people want to hear spoilers because that's what
yeah,
gets them to the theater. Like people don't want to come in blind to anything anymore. So that's
Mm.
why you hear things like James Gunn basically revealing every single cameo that happens in the movie. Or that's why like earlier this year, like Marvel was really pushing the fact that you were gonna get Red Hulk in Brave New
I
World. And it's
know.
Yeah,
just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he's in it for 4 minutes. Like
he is.
he's
yeah.
Yeah,
really pushed this thing way too far. Like
The entire
it
marketing, yeah,
yeah, it's just like apparently that's just what makes people go to the theater. Like they need to know the major plot points of
yeah,
the movie in order to figure out if they want to go or not, which
yeah,
I kind of understand because times is tough. Tickets were
yeah.
expensive.
They are
yeah,
getting
So
even more expensive.
yeah, so like I completely understand that kind of mindset, but in the meantime, you have people who are exploiting that fact and are like who like basically profit off of being like leakers and
Yeah,
stuff like that. It's like, okay, you're just like sucking the fun out of the whole
yeah.
point of watching a movie. Like,
yeah.
Somebody did that for the Jarrell thing before James Gunn revealed it. They said that. Oh,
really?
I don't, can we
I knew
spoil
about
things
that.
this soon? Can we talk about spoilers
Uh,
right now on here?
Yeah. I mean, spoilers. Just like a general spoiler warning, guys. If you have not seen the movie, we are talking spoilers for Superman.
Well,
5,
one
4,
of the
3,
one,
2.
Batman's in it.
Alan
Yeah.
is in it. But one of the main, not the main leaders, I think it was viewer Anon, that person on Twitter. They said, "Oh yeah, by the way, Bradley Cooper is Jor-El," just because they needed people to click into their tweets and click onto their posts and stuff like that. And then it was shortly after that the James Gunn just came out and, you know, alluded to it being Bradley Cooper. But it was like there was no need to spoil that. That was just a leaker being a not nice person and ruining the fun for people. Yeah.
It's.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
I think that's changed. I think what's really changed is now people are getting opportunities to get paid for social media. So it's like, okay, how do I get the most clicks on my post? Hey, let's post a video of the movie. Like Superman's all over TikTok. Like you can watch all of Superman right now on TikTok, and it's like
Yeah.
that sucks. Like I get maybe a scene or two every once in a blue moon, but like it's like your whole account is just Superman clips, and that is very disingenuous in my opinion.
Yeah.
I will say, I do feel like I know a lot less going into Fantastic Four than I knew going into Superman.
Sure.
I don't think I know exactly how
I don't
Fantastic
know the
Four
main plot.
plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah, whereas with Superman, we kind of knew it was like Lex Luthor, Ultraman, probably a Superman clone. A lot of just the little bits that led up to that. But I actually don't really know much at all about Fantastic Four.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's just
Um
Marvel itself, to be honest. They
Yeah,
they
that's
they run
true.
a very, very tight ship.
they're doing
Yeah,
better. They're doing better. Like Thunderbolts was the same way where it's like I didn't know really any of the third or the second or third act of Thunderbolts. And I was pleasantly surprised of like holy shit, okay.
yeah.
Nice.
But like Adrian, do you find that your mental health has improved since kind of making that switch over of like limiting yourself?
Exponentially.
Yeah, yeah,
Exponentially. I I don't know, I kind of become Superman in a way where I'm a lot nicer to people now,
Yeah, yeah.
oh sure,
right? Where I'm no longer surrounded by monkeys who are just typing
Super
mean
shit,
shit.
super shit.
Literally, who are just typing, who exist to just be mean all the time. Like it is y- I get to touch grass every day and it's actually wonderful. Like it's so nice. I was just making the joke earlier where it's like the colors are a lot brighter now and everything. It's like life is so much better. It also helps to have this because this is kind of like a dumb phone in a way where like the only notifications I'll ever get for this is if someone decides to call me or text me, which is the only reason why I should be on my phone anyway.
yeah.
So
That's good. That is smart.
yeah.
No, for sure. Yeah, I think we like. It's very easy to get lost in those little pockets of social media. It's
Yeah.
very easy to be like, well,
I mean,
this is
don't get me wrong, it was very hard because I was like you guys for a while. I'm sure you
yeah.
guys remember. Like
Oh yeah.
we were all in so deep with that. And it was so
Right.
hard to just like quit cold turkey and just like not understand anything that
Right.
was happening. But I think it's just one of those things where like the more time I spend away from it, the more I just kind of realize like, okay, this is my life now. I get it. Like
Mhm.
I can live in peace. I don't need to know everything that happens in every movie I want to watch.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that's fair. And I think it's like I think everyone knows that social media and their phones and like technology isn't healthy for them. Like I think like I don't think everyone's is like, well no, it's good for me. It's like no, I think everyone knows, but
yeah.
not
Yeah,
no one has that like willpower to be like, all right, I'm gonna set that down for like 5 hours, you know?
it's very
So
hard. Yeah.
it is hard, like especially when that's kind of the world right now, right? Like there's not as much going to parties and doing social events. Most of it is on here. So
Yeah. Especially when your livelihood is this. Like if you
yeah,
stream and like talk about comic book movies and just
yeah,
movies in general and stuff like
Yeah.
that, like
You're gonna
it's
see us.
hard to yeah, it's hard to get the best of both worlds where it's like,
yeah.
oh, I get to do this with all of my time, but then also come in blind. Like that's never gonna happen.
No, for sure. And yeah, like there's definitely like a hypocriticalness to what I'm saying right now because it's like we are literally on a podcast in front of our screens right now. So like there is like a bit of that I have to be like, well yeah, like I'm not preaching against it, but just kind of like having that general conversation. Um I also wanted to ask you, like obviously we had Superman this week, obviously, and this is a movie
Wait, what?
this is a movie about looking at the little things and Superman's a character that looks at everybody, no big or small. What is something small in your guys' life that you take for granted that you think you should give more appreciation to?
Ooh, this is deep.
We try. We try.
I'm trying to create a spotlight.
deep,
Is this
deep
fair?
question. Deep question. I mean, at the moment, I take rain for granted in Ireland because we had like 2 weeks of
Oh.
just the worst sun and heat wave of our life, and now it's raining a bit again, and I'm so thankful for it. I'm like, please never go away again, rain.
Mm,
That's
Uh,
that's
I
awesome.
would say nature. Nature's a go. Yeah,
Yeah. No.
nature is
Yeah.
definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, because we were just talking about off camera where I was like, yeah, like I forget that I live in a swamp just because all of
yeah,
the land around me is so
Mhm.
developed. But there is something nice about just like going outside and just walk, even though it's dead fucking hot outside and it's like the closest you'll ever get to hell
Mhm.
right now.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
Yeah.
just having a nice like walk and just seeing trees and just literally touch grass, like it actually just makes your life just better.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I think, yeah, I think there's definitely like a theme here about just like, again, like we just said, like with our phones and like social media, like putting that down and just touch grass and go outside and experience. I think I'm gonna add to that and be like the quiet moments. I think is something I really struggle with. Like I really struggle again going with the phone thing. I struggle
Mhm.
just being in silence, being in peace, letting quiet moments happen. It's like, oh, I have to always be watching something or playing something or reading something. It's like, no, you can just take the time, take a couple hours, like take an hour and just like look outside and just like people watch and have your own authentic brain like thought process and not just having to listen to what someone else is saying. And I think that is, again, it's hard nowadays, but like I think that is also important to kind of let your brain be in peace every now and again.
I agree. That's a good answer. I like that
That's
one.
a
Yeah,
really good answer. Way
for
better
sure.
than my answer of just rain.
Yeah, same.
I mean, I feel like they can all kind of like they kind of all go together. I think you
They
can
do,
kind of
yeah,
loop them
they
all
do.
together.
We need
Yeah.
to go outside in the rain and just enjoy the quiet.
Yes, yeah, it's all
Exactly.
one answer. Yeah,
The
it
sound
took
of
us all.
rain when you're standing outside is
Mhm.
might be my favorite sound of the world.
Yeah.
It's just so nice.
Have you guys seen that TikTok meme where it's like, "Oh, I how could anyone hate the rain?" And it's like the gentle like sprinkling, and then it cuts
Yeah.
to another person where it's just storming. It's like,
Yeah,
"God,
yeah.
Literally,
they're trying to
yeah.
drown me in this hell."
Work's made me hate rain. Like if I'm inside, I don't have to be out in it. I'm like, rain's awesome, but it's like, no, it's pouring outside, and I'm out there for like
Yeah.
8 hours. I'm like,
That's
well,
I
valid.
would
fuck this.
love to appreciate the rain, but again, I live in Florida where like it's never just light rain, it's literally hurricane level winds and
Yeah,
aggressive full like
Yeah.
flood level rain. So
Wow.
anytime I hear the thunder, I'm just like,
Like, no.
is this my last day on earth or what?
My God. Ireland has a mix of both. Sometimes it's like nice, gentle rain. Other times it's like out of nowhere you'll have the worst storm of your life, and you're like, cool.
that's valid. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we're just gonna kind of jump into today's episode. We're gonna get started with
Oh
some of
yeah.
our comment section here really quickly, and then I think those will be kind of a good transition. Hopefully, these comments can kind of be like, okay, let's spotlight this opinion. We can kind of go off on our own with some of these. First is from Country Shape Media. Hello. They said, I haven't seen the movie. We'll be careful for spoilers here. But if Superman is shown trying to save people and show remorse even for non humans like saving a cat or a squirrel, then I know this is Superman that I can look up to. Are you sure you haven't seen the movie? Is
Well,
all
we
I'll
we
say.
have some good news to tell you, my dude.
That's a specific animal there that you just mentioned that might or
Yeah,
may not
human, right?
gonna
Yeah.
save. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the human element. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jonathan in the chat, hello Jonathan, says I'm excited for the Supergirl
me
movie.
too.
Same.
Now, I mean, I guess we can start with Supergirl. That kind of feels like a weird place to start with it, but I feel like let's just kind of do
Yeah,
there.
we got
Um,
news on.
I mean, so like Adriel, what was your reaction to the Supergirl cameo? Because we knew about it, but you, I assume, were blind on that, right?
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw her just show up because
Mhm.
Yeah.
I guess I should have seen it coming in hindsight because the way Clark was saying that, like, oh, I'm dealing with crypto as like sort of like a foster situation. So I'm
Yeah.
just like, wait, that's not your
Mm-hmm.
dog? And then I was thinking, like, whose dog is it? And I was just like circling through like the many different origin stories that they gave crypto in the comics. So I'm just like, wait, did Lex make this first before Ultraman? And he like
Sure.
took him, or like I was genuinely trying to figure out the pieces. And then the moment I saw Supergirl show up and Crypto just tackled the living shit out of
Yeah,
her, I was like,
yeah,
oh, I love that. That's
yeah,
perfect.
Yeah. No. Like. Unfortunately, that was one of those things where it's like it wasn't, I guess, technically confirmed, but like James had said everything around it, basically confirming it, right? And it was like, James had said that, like, yeah, Crypto's not his dog, but he's kind of looking after it, and it's like, well, all right, yeah, it's probably, it's probably Supergirl.
yeah,
And, it also helps that like the Woman of Tomorrow comic features Crypto, and it's like, okay, we kind of
That's
figure
right.
he's gonna be in the movie, and we kind of heard that like Millie may be a part of the she was in all the cast stuff, but I'll say this, like when it happened, I was so engrossed into the movie I kind of forgot, like it's kind of not in my friend, like, it wasn't in my frontal lobe, so when it happened I was like, oh fuck, okay, all right, this is
yeah.
awesome. How about you, Connor?
No, yeah, I loved the scene. I thought it was great. I didn't forget about it because I was so excited to see her that I was kind of
Valid.
very like little bit thinking about the whole film. But yeah, like James never flat out confirmed any of it, but he said that, oh yeah, Millie's Supergirl will show up in a project before her own film, and then the only project now between Superman and Supergirl is Peacemaker season 2, and we kind of
She's
had
gonna
And
show
Lanterns
up and
too.
Lanterns, dude. The hell?
might be
She
Lanterns, could be
technically
Lanterns.
could,
Yeah, she actually could. Yeah, I did forget about it. I always keep forgetting Lanterns is early next year. I keep for some
Yeah.
reason thinking in my head it's like late 2026. But no, I love the scene. I thought it was really good to set her apart from Clark pretty immediately, and show the completely different people there, because one of the big complaints about like the Supergirl TV show was that Kara and that was just sort of a female Clark Kent in a lot of ways, personality wise, whereas now in this we can see that they are two clearly very different people, where Clark's like, yeah, she's going off to party on red sun planets because they affect Kryptonians differently, and she can get drunk on red sun
Yeah.
planets and stuff like that. Like it was really enjoyable, really great scene. I thought she immediately made an impact for the minute she was on
Yeah.
screen, and I cannot wait to see what they do with her and not Woman of Tomorrow anymore. I guess it's Supergirl, the film
It's
now.
just Supergirl.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just Supergirl.
yeah. But I'm excited. I love the costume, the brief look we saw of it. It looked really cool. That's something I was curious on. I was like, the S, the emblem. Are they
Mm-hmm.
just going to go with the idea that the original S isn't part of the DCU? Like, are we ever going to see the the iconic normal looking emblem,
It's
or is
I
it
think
just
I'm just speculating here because I think
yeah,
seeing the interviews that James Gunn would talk about is that as much as like uh how like campy the world is, he is still trying to bring in like some realism.
yeah,
And
maybe changes?
that's kind of how I like heard him explain about like the whole hypno glasses thing where he was just like, oh yeah, well no one's gonna believe the fact that like someone like Clark Kent looks very similar to Superman. And I'm just
Yeah,
like, true, of course you chose the one movie where Clark Kent looks very different to
Very different,
Superman,
does look
yeah.
but
very different. Yeah,
okay, I'll give you a pass on the hypno glasses, whatever. And then he also was saying that like, oh yeah, I was inspired by Smallville to call Lex's company Luthor Corp because I mean, name anyone who would name their own company off their first name and not their last name.
But Lex would be the
So,
one.
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. He's a narcissist, but whatever, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever.
He wants to separate himself from his father or something by being like, it's
Yeah,
Lex,
like
not Luthor.
I let it slide for those two things, but I think trying to get into James Gunn's head, I think he probably looked at that S and was like, not only is it really cool and it references an incredible comic book, which is
Yeah,
Kingdom Come, but
Yeah,
also it looks the most alien, right?
yeah.
Like
it does. Yeah,
it,
it does.
because it was something that was retroactively added over time in the comics where like, oh, the S actually is a symbol for hope
For
in
Hope,
the
yeah.
Kryptonian language,
I
but like everyone, but it looks like an S, dude. Like it looks
It,
exactly like an S.
yeah.
yeah,
it's an S. Like you don't have to lie to me. So I think this was his way of being like, oh, it's an S, but also looks a little different, just so it has that like reasonable doubt sort
Yeah,
of thing. I think
Yeah.
that's where he was going for that.
that's cool. Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah, I've always liked the like symbol thing because it's like I always thought that was one of the more sillier aspects of it. Is like he wears that S on his chest, which I like Superman when he's a bit silly, but
Yeah.
also I like that there's this kind of like outer worldly reason to why it looks like that. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is the like symbol of my people, but you guys have kind of grasped onto that, and and that's what it means to you, and this kind of like double meaning thing. I've always thought was kind of a cool prospect.
Yeah.
So
Wait, can I
yeah.
say one thing before we move on? Can you pull up
Mhm.
that Supergirl picture for
Yeah, of
one
course.
last second? One thing that I will say that I'm so happy that James Gunn and the DCU is doing is just how bright the emblem is. Like, look at that yellow and
Yes,
S on Supergirl
yes,
right there. That is potentially the brightest version of the S we've seen in live action, like on screen. Like, I
like
am so
ever.
sick of the muted blues and the muted like reds and the muted yellows and whatever. I don't want it to be a little washed out. I don't want it to be a little gray, a little dark. I want it to be bright, 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 pop out. I want so that when you see Superman or Supergirl on the screen, they immediately pop out in front of every other character. Like, their colors are just putting them in front of everyone. Like, I love that.
Mhm. Yeah, I also think like I kind of think this is kind of my preferred way to do these kind of the next project things, right? Because like
Yeah.
James Gunn said, he's not doing post-credit scenes that sets up another movie. He wants each movie to feel their own and authentic, and he doesn't want it to be like a trailer for what's coming next.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the following week being like, okay, but here's a little sneak peek to what's coming up
Look
next. And
out.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of like what I really like, because yes, you do want to kind of keep that momentum going, and I actually think James Gunn has always done a very good job at that. Like there was never really a moment within these last 2.5 years where there hasn't been DC stuff to talk about. Like at least every couple of weeks there'd be some announcement, some casting, some whatever. So I think keeping that momentum up right now while Superman is currently doing very well, it's breaking records, it's doing very well at the box office currently. I think this is very smart to be like, oh, okay, you like this, but there is something else coming, so keep an eye out for that. And I actually think having it like this wasn't the plan, but I actually think having it be almost this like spin-off to Superman is actually probably one of the best things they could have done. I think it's very like Arrowverse coded, where it's like, okay, yeah, but your next project are always like spin-offs to what came
Yeah.
before, and this kind of continuous journey through each and every project.
yeah. I was actually gonna say something similar to that, where it's like even when James Gunn said that, like, "Oh, I'm not trying to make sure that the post-credit scenes are still connected, I wanna make sure all the films were standalone." So did the early MCU for the most part. I mean, sure, a lot of
Yeah,
the post-credit
yeah,
scenes were teasing the next movies, but for literally almost from beginning to the end of the movie until the credits roll, like, it was a
It was
very
its own
much it was its own thing. Like, it was just a Thor movie, it was just an Iron Man movie, just a
yeah,
Captain
yeah,
America.
yeah,
Like, they really did take their time to make sure that each individual movie was good enough, and then they made it more connected. And I
yeah.
was gonna say that like this is similar to the Arrowverse route. For the very beginning, uh, they didn't want to guarantee any spin-off to any character, so they'll just introduce them in a
yeah.
show, and then they'll pass them on to another show for a
Mhm.
couple episodes to see if people really like it, and then if they do, then
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're good.
I was like, is it just
So
me?
yeah, it's just like makes it really cool
Yeah.
for people to kind of look forward to
Yeah.
it. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
And to build
Agreed.
off your Nick Fury thing, like, yeah, like, or not like your MCU post credit scenes. Like, Nick Fury was in the Iron Man post credit scene, but that wasn't just a spin off. Like, that wasn't just teasing spin off films. That was teasing the next Iron Man film.
Yes.
So it isn't even like it's teasing a wider universe. It's just teasing a plot point for Iron Man 2, which still felt very secluded and tied together in its own way. Which
yeah.
I completely
And yeah, and there was like a deleted
Completely.
scene that they used where it's like they right when and I think it was like when Endgame had already ended and they were like showing out deleted scenes for the post credit
Yeah.
for Iron Man 1, and they were like teasing that there might have been mutants, like that was the
Yeah, I
original
remember that.
plan. There was like
Yeah.
mutants, there was a reference to Spider-Man, like
Yeah.
they had no idea what they were gonna do. It was really just like, we'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah,
For
for
sure.
sure. No, for sure. Yeah, I think like I do think the world building I think is probably one of the strongest points of this movie because it all like you can look at it in terms of like inside baseball of just being like okay there's Mr. Terrific and there's Crypto and there's Supergirl and there's Hawk Girl and Guy Gardner, like there's obviously very strong world building stuff here, but I think it all feels very natural. Like it doesn't feel like all right they're trying to set up a spinoff. It's like no, they just exist in this world and there's these living bright characters that like if we never get a like Mr. Terrific project, we have this, and that's okay. And it's not like
And
wait, whatever
Arrow,
happened to
obviously.
that project? Yeah, for sure. Let's answer another question here. He said also Superman is durable, not invincible. So him being beat up by beings that are just as strong and a literal clone makes sense that he would be beat up in a fight. Okay, so yeah, this is another thing I kind of wanted to bring up because this is something that has been a large criticism for like since that first trailer came out, and we're like, Superman was beat. Oh my gosh! And I think one of the things I think this first, literally the opening does is it says this is the first time he's ever lost a fight.
Yeah,
and I
Yeah.
think that
3
makes a
minutes
lot
ago.
of sense. Connor, we've talked about this with like Homelander, where it's like the only reason Homelander is as strong as he is because there's no one else on his level. So the first time there was literally anyone close to him, he got his ass beat because
Best
he's
moment of
not
the boys.
used to it.
Yeah,
He's
best
not
moment of the
used to
boys.
fighting. He's not
Yeah.
a fight. And that's another thing. Superman's never been like an actual fighter because he hasn't needed to be. He just punches, right? Like he doesn't need that. He doesn't have that training that like a Batman or like a Green Arrow would have. It's like he's just doing stuff. So like when he is matched with someone of that same strength, to me it makes a lot of sense why he got beat so much in this first movie.
Yeah. I liked it a lot. It really did sort of give the impression of what Clark's life as Superman has been like up until the beginning of Superman, like the way that they just go through, what did they say, 3 centuries ago, or not mutants, like the metahumans started to appear, and then it
Metahumans.
goes down of like that. Yeah, like it's really cool. I like that, and just the idea that this is the first time he was beat and the first time he's really been put in situations like this still makes it feel like it's a huge moment for the DCU and not just, another big moment in big moments that have been happening for his whole career now. Like as Superman, it feels like we're finally seeing the first big moment for him. That was cool. I would really like to see prequel comics that go into him first meeting the Justice Gang and him first meeting like Guy and Mr. Terrific and Hawk Girl and all these characters and just seeing what their interactions like first, because we even got the hint in this one that Clark just sort of tells anybody he trusts that he's Clark Kent. Where Guy's like, so he's Clark Kent. He told us, yeah, he trusts us because we're of the cloth. Like, I want to see those interactions in prequel comics or something like that. That'd be cool.
Ooh, same.
And like James Gunn has said, this universe isn't a congruent timeline. Like he said, he's very down. He's going to do prequel movies and stuff in the future, and he's kind of jumping all over the place, which is exciting to me. I actually think very important because we are jumping into a universe that's seemingly very established. I need prequels for some of these characters that are a bit older. Like I would really like this. Like I'd like to see like a younger Hal Jordan at some point, right? Because we're going to be doing like a 50-year-old Hal Jordan, and like we're doing like an established Bat family. Like maybe we get like a young, I don't know where Batgirl is going to be, but like, depending where she's at, that could be a prequel. Like there's the JSA is a big one where it's like, okay, that could be really cool. So I definitely think we're going to be
JSA in it, where we saw the mural in the Hall of Justice that had loads of characters on it. Like I want to see if that's a hint that we're going to do something like that. Like a JSA film would tie in really well with something like Sergeant Rock. If Sergeant Rock is in World War II, you could easily have it that he has a run-in with like the Ancient Justice Society or something back then.
Yeah, for sure. So someone had kind of put together this little graphic of all the characters that were in the little photo. I was like, man, that's a way to do references and Easter eggs. Like, is there any characters on this list that we think we're going to be seeing within this kind of first age of these projects, or are these kind of just little Easter eggs we're never going to see?
I will say, yeah, the Flash, yeah, for sure.
They have to do the Flash.
Yeah, they have to.
Well, that's Jay Garrick too, so they could just leave it as
that could be like a
They can do what the Flash TV show did, where it's
Mhm.
sort of like make Jay Garrick the mentor
Yeah.
for Barry Allen or whatever Flash they decide to
Right.
go with.
They could do
Agreed.
like a Flash film where Wally West did the new Flash with Barry Allen mentoring him, and then in
Mhm.
that do flashbacks inside the film of Barry being mentored by Jay.
I
Yeah.
That
like
kind of
that. Yeah.
a cool little connection.
I think Wildcat would be a sick solo movie.
Yeah,
I think that'd
like a
be
box set.
awesome.
I
Yeah,
think Wildcat, he probably would either get his own show, if not, he'll be a supporting character in a Black Canary
yeah,
movie.
Ooh,
I
that'd be
I
cool.
don't think a lot of people really are interested that
No.
much in Wildcat
Yeah.
itself. And there's also really not that much material on him because
Sure.
other than him being in the JSA, the only other thing that's known about him is that he helped train Black Canary.
yeah,
Mm,
Those are kind of like the
sure.
two main things. So, I mean, it seems like the way James Gunn is kind of just establishing the world where it's like, oh yeah, these characters already exist, move on.
yeah,
I wouldn't be
Right.
surprised if we get like a Black Canary show or a Black Canary movie and we somehow just get like Wildcat. Like even if it's just like a phone call or just like a conversation, like
Yeah.
that's when we'll get Wildcat.
Sure.
it'd be
We
cool to
are
get like
never we are never gonna see Vibe. What? I'm sorry, there's no way we're gonna see Vibe. Really?
I I mean, I don't know about that, but I think it'd be really cool to get like a Wildcat project that is maybe it's because I'm thinking of Karate Kid Legends recently, but like
Yeah.
the project could be like I don't know, like an 8 episode miniseries where every episode is sort of a
Mm,
boxing tournament or something, and we're moving up and we're going
Hmm.
through different DC fighter characters in it,
Yeah.
and Ted
Oh.
yeah.
Grant is one of the characters who's fighting in it. I think
You
that'd
know,
be really cool.
Give me
I will
Rocky.
say,
Give me like DC's
sorry.
Rocky.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, I will say, I mean, James Gunn seems to be liking a whole lot of Tom King stuff. He
Yeah,
did release a mini series of Black Canary, and it's very like boxing related.
that'd be
So
cool.
I was
I'd like
like, I
that.
wouldn't be surprised if James Gunn decides to read that and it's like, you know what, maybe this should be the introduction
Yeah,
for the Black Canary character or just
Mm.
Wildcat in general. Like
I'd
just
love
make
that.
it
Yeah.
a Wildcat movie. I would love to be proven wrong and we get a DC version of Rocky.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'd love
That
that.
would probably be the way to do it, though. Is like do Green Arrow and Black Canary, and then have him just appear in that movie and be like, "Do people like him? Do people like him? Okay, do a little, little something,
Yeah, like tease it. It's like, oh, do people actually like him? Because we can kind of like the whole
Right?
Mr. Terrific thing.
Yes.
Where it's like Mr. Terrific shows up in this movie. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm excited," but he's going to be a nice
Hmm.
side character, and you didn't realize that he was going to be. Oh no, he's not a side character. He's like one of the characters. And now
Yeah.
And the
he's like,
coolest
"Hey,
part about it.
maybe there'll be a show, maybe not. I don't know."
Yeah, I mean that I don't have the graphic pulled up here, but yeah, that was one of the things James Gunn said this week is that they're they're eyeing maybe either a Mr. Terrific series or a Jimmy Olsen series, and those two are I feel like very different, projects.
Yeah,
Mr. Terrific, I'm like, we'll greenlight that immediately. He was probably my favorite character in the movie.
Yeah,
Let me read this comment here, and then that can kind of transition into that. I think that's a good transition point. But your friend Darth Bunyan, how's it going, buddy? He said, "Well, if it isn't three of the most handsome dudes in the new universe, hell yeah, man! I hope you
thank
all
you.
enjoyed the movie as much as Mr. Terrific likes his T spears. Yeah, no, I think Mr. Terrific was
he was great.
my personal most surprising thing because, like,
I agree. Yeah,
like I'm not gonna say I didn't like Mr. Terrific. We had Curtis back on Arrow, and I saw him in like animated stuff throughout the years. But like, I wasn't like I need Mr. Terrific in this movie. So it was a nice surprise that I came out of it. I'm like, I think he was my favorite character in this movie.
he was so good and he's so enjoyable. I love that the first needle drop in the film, but technically the only needle drop because I don't think Punk Rocker at the end counts as a needle drop. But the only and James Gunn loves his needle drops in other films,
Hmm.
does them all the time in Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad. I love that the only one inside Superman was left for Mister Terrific's amazing fight scene. Like it made it hit, it made it impactful, it made it stand out inside the film where we weren't expecting another needle drop at some point. So when it finally happened,
Mhm.
we were like, "Oh my god, this is so sick! This is so epic!" Seeing it all kind of from Lois's point of view as well, where she's just standing in there and it's just happening all around her. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I actually kind of forgot it was a James Gunn film until that
Yeah,
news drop
sure, yeah.
happened. Where
Yeah.
I was watching like, all right, Superman origin story, awesome. And
Yeah.
there were kind of moments in dialogue where I'm like, okay, yeah, that's definitely James Gunny, especially when it comes to the humor. I was like, okay, but
Yeah,
this
I
was
agree.
like what towards the end of the second act of the
Yeah, it was
story.
late
So
into the film.
yeah, so I was already deep into it. Like I completely forgot who
Yeah.
directed this movie. And then the moment we get that 5 years time song needle
Yeah.
drop, I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's
This is
right.
who it
He
is.
made the
Mhm.
movie. He's made
Yeah,
this movie."
It
I
is
agree.
very funny, like comparing this one to the Arrow one. Your voice was in my head, Adriel, being like, he didn't win a fight until season 7, and then this one he wins a fight, just like the most badass character in this whole goddamn movie. It is
Yeah.
like, yeah, they're very, they're they're quite different.
They,
Um,
this interpretation of Mr. Terrific basically it like corrected all of the wrongs that Arrow did. Because
yeah,
one of the critiques I've had about Curtis on Arrow was the fact of like they used him in season 5 being like, he always loses fights. Maybe he should lean more into tech, and that's where we get the origin of the T spheres. And then
yeah,
we never got anything else after that. Like he
yeah,
still was like, you know what? I want to learn how to fight. I'm like, did we not just have this lesson of like lean into the tech thing? Like, please, please.
yeah.
Hey, him doing T Spheres against Vigilante in what was it, season 5, episode 14, 15? When
Yeah.
he's their Vigilante's going after them and he's just up there taking on Vigilante on his own. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That's
Like, he's
it.
definitely had some good moments, but, like, the fact that we finally get to see Mr. Terrific, like, be smart
Yeah.
and, like, actually do some really cool stuff with his, T-spheres and just floating around, and he's, like, super advanced, like, there was that one moment in season 7 of Arrow where Curtis was like or no, Diggle was saying to Curtis, it was just like, you have 14 PhDs, right? And I know
Yeah.
that's like a comic book thing because Mr. Terrific in the comics does have 14 PhDs. But there was something where you heard that in the context of what we saw on Arrow and you immediately went like, bullshit.
Yeah.
No, he
Yeah. It's
does
like
not.
there's no way this
But
character has that. Like this version,
there's
no
no
way.
way.
No way.
Yeah, it's like I understand. Like you made me believe that a person can run super duper fast. You made me believe that a alien has laser eyes and ice breath. Cool, but you cannot make me believe that Curtis has 14 PhDs. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, you
Yeah.
can't. But this movie, I'm
Oh,
sure they will
yeah.
eventually at some point mention the fact. There'll probably be like a comedic line, but
Yeah.
if they said to
You'd
me
believe
where
it.
it's like, oh yeah, this guy, like Mr. Terrific has 14 PhDs,
Mhm.
I was like, shit, I think he has 20. I think that might
Yeah.
be up for
Like
debate.
only
I don't know.
14? This guy only 14?
I'd be really curious too because, like, I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion that the next one's going to be Brainiac, right? Like that's where my
I
headspace
feel
is at
like it
right
is.
now. And I think that'd
Supergirl's
be
gonna be
really,
it'll be Brainiac.
I think it'd be really fun to like make him very menacing. Where it's like this is like the smartest guy in the whole universe, but then Brainiac comes aboard of like, oh, I'm out of your league a little bit, buddy. You might have to keep up. Like I feel like that could be a fun
I would
dynamic
love that.
if Mister Terrific is even in a sequel to Superman. Like there's nothing saying he has to be in another one, but
We also James Gunn's been pretty coy about that, saying like define sequel to Superman when people are asking him where's Superman 2.
yep,
So do we think that means it's going to be like Children of Krypton, like the last
yep.
Children of Krypton with Superman, or do we think it's like another world's finest Batman teaming up with Superman thing?
I don't think it's Batman. I don't. It seems like
I don't think so either. No.
it doesn't like every time anyone mentions like Brave and the Bold and what's going on with Batman, it's kind of seemed like we'll see eventually. Like it doesn't seem like Batman that version of Batman is on the corner right now, which is why I think
I hope.
Clayface is happening to give kind of people like a little taste. Maybe there's a little cameo or something, to kind of keep people satisfied. And while they focus on Batman Part 2, and then I 100% think I'm very confident almost that it is Superman Supergirl team up movie. That makes sense to me.
It would have to be at this point. It would have to be the last
Yeah.
Children of Krypton. I think James Gunn is still kind of panicking when it comes to Batman, and it's kind of very evident that he is panicking just because like he said it himself in an interview where it's just like, oh, like all of my superiors are actively pressuring me to figure out the Batman situation because he
Yeah.
makes so much money,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it'd be really dumb not to do a Batman
Yeah.
movie in this universe,
I need
which is
Robert
why you
Pattinson as the Batman for the DC.
exactly, like,
I need it.
you
I need
always
it.
you always hear that back and forth of
Yeah.
just like, "Oh, do Robert Pattinson. No, we need a new one. No, Robert Pat. Like, there's always that back and forth.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was sort of against doing Robert Pattinson until I saw this movie. More specifically, I'm not sure if any of you guys caught this in the background, but when I think it was when Superman was fighting the kaiju that like grows in the background, there's a news screen that says floods happen in Gotham
Yeah.
City, like major floods. So I was just when I saw that, I was like, is this James Gunn trying to do some like
Yeah, a little tease.
corporate play, sort of like force Matt Reeves' hand here? Is like, well, I already did this. Like, maybe you could. Like,
Yeah.
Penguin has already won an Emmy,
Yeah.
or did it win an Emmy, or is it nominated?
No,
Was it
it's
nominated?
nominated for like
It won a bunch.
20
Yeah, like
something Emmys.
yeah.
It hasn't won any yet,
As
but
it
it's nominated
should.
for a load. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like, listen, it's Emmy nominated. It's a really good show. A lot of people like it. Everyone loved the Batman
Mhm.
movie. Everyone was actively like foaming at the mouth for Batman Part 2. So it's just like maybe it's just best to just do it, just to bite the bullet. But you could clearly
That's the
tell that
easiest thing to do, right?
it's
Like
the easiest thing, but you could tell that I think Matt Reeves is the one that's kind of against
Doesn't want
it.
yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to do it. I think he's the only reason why it hasn't been done, and I think that's why James Gunn is trying to like avoid it because
Mhm.
he
Doesn't wanna clash
doesn't
with
know what to do. He doesn't know what to do.
It's also, I think, down to Robert Pattinson too, because
I think
like if
Pattinson will
he
be down
only
He said he
like
was down for it.
Yeah, he did.
okay, like if he's because like I don't want a situation where like you do this and in 5 years he's like, actually guys, I'm a little tired. I want to do like that's the worst case scenario because then you either have to reboot again or you have to like recast the character and that's a whole fucking thing. Look at the whole Brandon Routh thing all over again. Like that's a mess, right? So I think you have to make sure this is what everybody wants 100% because if you do that, you do have to kind of move away from some of the plans you were originally doing, like Brave and the Bold. Everything you were doing there, done. Get rid of that immediately. Teen Titans, which we heard was being like fast tracked, that's also done. You cannot do Teen Titans if you don't have a Robin yet. If your Batman's like in his 20s, like you can't do that either. So you have to like. And also, I think kind of like I know they like James Gunn said it doesn't really like the characters in there doesn't matter, but like also creatures, like that version of the character looks nothing like Robert Pattinson, and I know he said that doesn't matter. They can look like whatever there, but also it's like that was a huge buff giant Batman, where it's like that's not Robert Pattinson. Right?
I think that was more of a stand, like a holdover from the DCEU, because we know Creature Commandos was originally in the DCEU. I think that
I agree. I agree with
like
that.
Netflix Batman than Pattinson's Batman. But like just two things I really quickly want to mention is if they ended up bringing Pattinson in, I wouldn't want to lose Matt Reeves over that. If like Reeves is like, look, I'm not getting involved in connected stuff because I don't think Pattinson's Batman, as amazing as he is, it's the world building and it's the Gotham and it's the writing that makes him as good as it is. I wouldn't want Matt Reeves to be like, look, you bring Batman over, I'm out. Like I'm not doing that. I'm not getting
everyone
involved.
has to be 100% in or 100% out.
Yeah,
exactly. But also, I think. I mean, I don't work in, Hollywood or in Warner Brothers or whatever, but I think it might be incredibly stupid of them to have two Batman franchises coming out in movies at the same time as each other. I feel like that'll affect both of them, where you're going to have a case of one of them can't use villains because the other one's using villains, one of them can't use characters because of the other one using characters. We've already heard Batman Part 2 might have a Robin in it. Does that mean that, they're going to have to cancel, say, like, the Batman Part 2 did Dick Grayson? Does that mean they're not going to use Dick Grayson at all in the DC?
I mean, it's already going to happen because of the Penguin did their own kind of version of Clayface already.
They did, yeah, they did.
Because Penguin, that was Penguin's like love interest. I forgot her name, but her last name was Carlo, and that's how I knew about it. But I was like, that's kind of what Matt Reeves' version of what the Clayface is, because he likes to like water everything down to make it more realistic. I mean, didn't he like mention when the first Batman came out, he was talking about like, oh, if I ever had to do Superman, this would be my pitch to be in that universe. And I'm just like, so that's not fucking Superman, dude. Like you just like, I don't remember how he described it exactly, but I remember like reading exactly what he wanted to do with Superman in that Batman universe. And I'm just like, that sounds incredibly awful. Don't do that. Like that's terrible.
And like I definitely don't agree with people. Like I have friends that's like these two could never work together. These tones are way too different. I was like, that sounds like Batman and Superman to me. Like their tones are always very different. People are like, it's too grounded. I was like, yeah, Batman's usually grounded at first, and then he's thrown into a world where he's out of his depth. That's kind of the point. So I've kind of always been under the thing of like, you know what? I'm down for either direction you want to go. If you want to do someone
Same.
new, or if you want to bring him in, just commit to whatever
They
one
would
you're
just have
doing.
they would just have to explain why Batman looks so young enough to have Damian Wayne as a child.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that made me against it in the beginning.
I
I
think
was
you
just
have
like,
to cut the whole Damian Wayne thing. I think you have to wait. I think you have to move away from all that shit.
I agree, but it's just that like when he made that announcement, he was very dead set. Like I understand he's very flexible. Like we're still in the very beginning of this universe where he's
Yeah.
going to be flexible, but
Yeah.
that was basically going to be the pitch for Brave and the Bold. So he would
Yeah.
either just have to announce that like, oh yeah, Brave and the Bold's done. Like we're not
It's
doing
done.
that.
Canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we have to get rid of that. So we're not doing that because yeah, Robert Pattinson looks he looks like you could probably gaslight me into thinking that okay, Damian Wayne, they're probably going to introduce him when he's like 10. So he's like, okay, he might have made some dumb decisions 10 years ago, sure. Because Robert Pattinson's like
12-year-old
in his 30s. Because Robert Pattinson's like in his 30s. So I was like, you know what? I can let it go for a little bit. Like he was just really dumb in college or whatever whatever the hell.
Yeah.
So like, sure,
Yeah.
fine. But then they're still doing that dynamic duos movie where it's going to be the origin story of Red Hood, Jason Todd, and Nightwing, Dick Grayson. And I'm just
They
like,
say
I
that
think
that's
that's
DCU.
Elseworld, though.
Yeah, I thought they did say
that's
that.
an Elseworld project.
oh, that's Elseworld? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Which
Because that was going to be my main thing. I was like, if we're going to have those two already and Robert Pattinson's still in his 30s, yeah, good luck.
That's pretty weird, yeah.
And like that might be like another like way of him being like, hey, I'm not ready for Batman yet. Let's get this Robin project. It's like other Robin project that's over there to try and keep people satisfied while we wait, which I think is fine. Like we have like again we have like Batman Part 2. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
so.
that's a long way up because then that means the like Brave and the Bold probably is until 2030, 2031,
Yeah.
which
or ever.
Or ever. But like I feel like they really have to make a decision if I mean I know they said they had a 10-year plan, but it's like, do you want Batman to be the kind of character in your new DCU that doesn't really show up or doesn't play any role until you're already at the time you're doing your Justice League event? Or do you want him to be established? Do you want him to be a character we've seen a bunch of times already? Because, time ain't going to move any slower.
Yeah, and that's the like DCEU all over again of just us not being able to get Batman unless it's a team up project. And it's like, man, that's
which I will say, to give the DCEU props, I did like the idea of introducing Batman as an antagonist.
Sure.
I would like that. Yeah.
Like, I kind of do like that idea because that way, if it's an antagonist, you don't really have to show that much screen time. And you also get to have a clever way of showing how badass Batman is. Like, if you get to just make him fight in the shadows, like, he's so fast and so, like enduring that you can barely see him. You can really make him like a terrifying threat to really lean into that whole fear thing. And then that's where you can do like, I don't know, basically what BVS did, where it's like, oh, it just turned into a world's finest movie towards the end. Maybe don't do Doomsday, but
well, I mean, that'd be awesome for like Clayface, right? Like have Batman be the like villain of Clayface, and he's just like consistently like running away from him. He's just like this shadow. Like you don't even have to cast him. Don't cast him.
That's what I'm saying. They actually could do that, where it's like he's just a shadow. Kind of like how what was that show? Titans did for like the first season, like the entire first season, where you never saw Batman. You just always saw the silhouette all the time.
Joker, where we were in Dick's weird like mind world at the end of season 1.
Yeah, like you never fully saw like Batman. It was always just a silhouette.
Yeah. No, I'd be down for that a lot. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I think, just don't go as hard on it the way Batman v Superman did, where he's not maybe branding criminals with like a big burning the bat symbol onto their shoulders and then sending them to Arkham. I think it'd be cool to see that sort of thing where it's like it was weird on like the two sides of the characters, where we've got the super dark Batman side of it clashing with the super light, hopeful, optimistic Superman side of it, where we've got the beautiful, bright Metropolis, and then just the version of. I mean, I would love to see Matt Reeves' Gotham alongside James Gunn's Metropolis.
Yeah. I agree, but what you just said made me doubt it again, because that was the whole lesson that Batman learned at the end of the first movie, where he was like, maybe I need to stop being so angry, because the people of Gotham need hope right
Yeah,
now.
they need a
Like
symbol.
Yeah.
he saw the consequences of his like vengeance kind of attitude
Right.
with
Yeah.
Riddler, because Riddler thought he was doing the same thing as Batman, and Batman's like, no, 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 we are not the same. We are
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
same thing. And
That's
that's
true.
when like
That's
Batman had to learn. So I think, I don't know. I think you would probably at that point probably have to do a different Batman in order to
yeah.
keep
Make it
that
work.
whole clash of how like the point of views are, where you have Superman who believes that like all life is sacred and that killing should only be used as like a very, very last resort, but like
Yeah.
it should not even be considered as an option and stuff like that. Whereas Batman, I still don't think he should kill either, but he's very
I don't.
much like, oh no, like I'm gonna
Mhm.
torture him. And
Yeah.
Superman's like, with a cactus, right? Because we're not gonna like, you mean real
Yeah.
torture? Like branding or something? I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah.
Sort of
No, I
like
agree
of that
completely.
moment in the Brave and the Bold crossover with
Yeah.
Flash and
Yeah.
Arrow, where like Flash found out how like Oliver
Yeah, Oliver
does
was
things, and he's just like, "Yo,
torturing
what
people.
is the matter with you?"
Yeah.
And Oliver's like, I live in a city where my mother was killed by super soldiers. And Barry's like, my mother died too, Oliver.
Yeah, and he didn't know who did it at that point.
Yeah. Yeah,
He
exactly. You had
didn't.
to figure it
He
out.
didn't even know who did it.
Yeah. All right, let's just continue to go down the list here. Dark says Nicholas Holt gave a fantastic performance as Lex that is really is ready with layers and layers to his plan and brought his aggression, but didn't fear it like I did with Cudlitz. So yeah, that's a good transition.
Ooh,
Let's talk
He
about
was a
Lex
good Luthor.
Luthor, because I feel like Lex is one of the more
eek.
controversial elements of this movie. I feel like people either really love his Lex Luthor,
Really?
they
I've seen nothing but
really
praise for him.
hate it. Really,
Same.
I've seen a bit of people that have been kind of reserved on it. I have people that have said this is their least favorite version of Lex. I've heard people say it's their
Wow.
favorite.
Okay.
How are you guys with it? Because I feel like I'm kind of like in the middle, I guess, a little bit.
I'll start because I feel like I'm gonna be the more positive.
Okay.
Not that I think Clark, you're Clark now.
Yeah.
Thank
Connor, it's because of the shirt. It's the shirt, man. Not that I
Yeah,
think
well,
Connor
no,
is
I'm
gonna be
Superman. I'm
negative
not Clark.
about
I'm
it.
not Clark Kent. I'm not Clark Kent.
That's right. My bad. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, not that I think Connor's gonna be negative about the performance. I think I just loved Nicholas's performance more than he did, because I do think he's the best. Like I do
Sure.
think
Yeah.
Nicholas Holt. I Over time I was kind of hesitant to say that, just because of like, okay, this is definitely recency bias showing. I'm gonna give it a moment, give it some time to relax, and then I, right after watching Superman, I watched Smallville, which is like everyone's
Mm,
favorite version of Lex. And while I do agree that Michael Rosenbaum's performance is really well, I just don't believe it's the best.
Sure.
Like
interesting.
no matter how much convincing I try, I'm like, I love his performance, but I don't know. I really did like John Cryer's performance on Supergirl
Me too.
more.
Yeah, he was great in that.
So like season 5 and 6 were a little rough when it came to him. I wasn't the biggest fan of what they
Yeah.
did, but like what they did with him in season 4, I literally looked at him and I was just like, they got it. They did
Yeah.
it. Like that's him. Like Supergirl was the only Lex Luthor up to that point, up till, dare I say, this movie, where it
Mhm.
was the most comic accurate Lex Luthor
I
we have
agree.
ever seen,
Yeah.
because it was, you leaned into the more maniacal, obsessed with Superman, obsessed with being the best, and
Yeah.
you also still had that flamboyant version of his personality, that
Yeah.
over the top comic bookiness that a lot of the movies really tried to tone down,
Yeah.
because they just assumed that, oh, people weren't going to buy the performance
Yeah.
if they decided to just make it over the top and super maniacal. So the fact that and even with Superman and Lois, as much as I loved his performance, oh hi, even with Superman and Lois, like as much as I loved Michael Cudlitz's performance, he did kind of play Lex Luthor as sort of like, I talked to my fiance about this. He played it much more of like a mob boss than
Mm,
anything.
It
yeah.
Like
felt a lot like that. Yeah.
yeah, like and it's true, because that was kind of the route that they were going for, because he was secretly the head
Yeah.
of Intergang, and it's a more of a grounded Superman
Yeah.
universe, so they couldn't really go too cosmic with Intergang,
Yeah.
and the fact that Lex Luthor, they stuck with the origin with Lex Luthor. Like, oh no, I grew up in the suicide slums and I
Yeah.
climbed my way up the ladder and became a billionaire. Like, I'm self-made. I learned it the hard way.
Yeah.
So I think they really did lean into the fact of like, oh no, this Lex Luthor, he's a hardened gangster. He's a criminal. Like, this is like almost Godfather-esque Luthor.
Yeah.
And while I did like that interpretation of it, again, it wasn't the most comic accurate. So the fact that we saw John Cryer, and then once I finally saw Nicholas Holt's performance, I was just like, this is it. This is what I've been asking for, like,
Yeah.
forever. This is it. This is what I've been wanting the whole time. Because again, with the Smallville, I do like the fact that they made him sort of like give him a sympathizing backstory. But I'm the kind of person where I'm just like, no, I want my Lex Luthor to be a piece of shit.
Yeah. You
Like,
want to be
I want him to
evilly
be
evil.
the absolute worst human being possible.
Yeah. No, I agree with all that.
I think. Oh, sorry, Connor. Go ahead.
No, you got it.
Yeah, I think there's always been a bit of like a. I think they've always tried to put like a little twist on Lex Luthor, and I feel like like Rosenbaum is great, but you don't fully get to embrace what you can because it is a prequel, and you can't go full on Lex Luthor and the Smallville budget. And Cullett's is still one of my favorite versions of the character, but it's a very different version of the character. A lot of these, John Cryer is great, but very limited due to being Supergirl, not Superman, and like all this various stuff. Batman v Superman, that's a whole tangent there, but yeah, I do think it's like this felt like the closest to just like what you think of when you think of Lex Luthor on screen, put in live action, and it felt like you were actually really able to. I guess next to like the Superman and Lois finale, which I thought was like, holy shit, we're getting them facing off in live action, like this is crazy. But I do feel like I definitely get what you're saying, where it did feel the most comic booky. It did feel like, oh, we're finally actually doing Lex Luthor, and that's how I think you can justify doing Lex Luthor again, because I originally didn't want Lex Luthor to be the villain. Like we talked about this on like a year and a half ago. It was like, Lex Luthor again? Really? We're doing this again? But I think it's like you're justifying it by like, okay, but we're actually doing it. We're finally going to give it to you. And also there's something cool to be like, okay, the first official villain of the DC universe is Lex Luthor. That is pretty fitting. I sometimes wanted a little bit more, I guess, from it. Like, I sometimes wanted just, like, maybe slightly more of a nuance or, like, slightly more of a push forward with him a little bit. But I'm really curious to see what we do with him going forward, because this is the most, like, evil. You know what I mean? Like, I think Lex always starts at, like, a 5, and then he makes his way up to a 10. He starts at 10 and then goes up to 30.
But also, there's still some things. There's still some things about
Yeah.
him. Because, like, he is not, like, he doesn't want to kill immediately.
No,
Like,
yeah.
Eve
He feels
literally
murdered.
betrayed him. Yeah, like, Eve literally betrayed him, and he was like, no, I'm going to imprison her.
Lock you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna kill her. And when he was doing the whole thing with Malik, remember his name? When he killed Malik, like, there was a moment where even he was shocked for a second. He didn't let it show that much, but there was a brief hesitancy where he was like,
I
oh,
was like,
I
I didn't want to kill that guy. Didn't want to do
yeah,
that.
I didn't want to do that,
Yeah.
but it's done.
Yeah.
It feels like he's got sort of an aversion to killing himself, because like he makes when he says that oh yeah, if when he brings Superman and he throws him in the prison, he's like, if it was up to me, I would have killed you already, but the government needs you or whatever. That says to me that like he doesn't want to kill himself, that he's completely okay letting other people do the dirty work and getting their hands dirty and killing for him, but
Yeah,
he doesn't actually want to get
Yeah.
his hands dirty. He
that's the
doesn't
classic, like, that's the classic billionaire move where
Yeah.
he's just like, oh, I can just hire people to do the dirty
Yeah.
work for me. I don't ever have to do it. And I think that was the first time where he actually had to do it, and he was just like, oh, I don't like this.
And also, I think there's something to be said about like Lex likes trophies, and I think like that's
Does,
kind
yeah.
of what
He
it
likes
is
having
with
a
him locking
Yes.
people up. Is like, this is my collection. I can
Oh.
just own people. I can do whatever the fuck I want, and no one can stop
Speaking
me.
of, about the whole trophies thing in his little prison, do we think that's the Phantom Zone?
I've heard people say that. I don't
I
think
would-
so.
I don't
thought
think
about
that's
it
the
for a
Phantom
while.
Zone, but I think it might lead. I think Lex knows what the Phantom Zone is, and I think he has one of his black old teleporters or whatever. I think one of them goes to the Phantom Zone, but I don't think that is the Phantom Zone. I think it's more like a gateway to where the Phantom Zone
Okay.
actually is.
Okay, because I was thinking about it and I was going back and forth of like, because I heard some other review and he was just like, oh, like this is their introduction to the Phantom Zone. I was like, is it? I don't really think so. I mean, the
Yeah.
person that was like leading the trolley, he didn't really look like a phantom, so to
No.
speak. He looked butt ugly,
Yeah.
but he
Yeah.
didn't really look like what most phantoms do look like
Yeah. At first, I thought that
in
was a
all
White
his.
Martian reference because, like, Lex literally said before introducing him, he was like,
Ah,
you're a Martian," and Superman's like, "Not a Martian, Kryptonian." And then we see that guy, and I was like,
Same
"Is that a
thing.
White Martian reference? Like, is that
Yeah.
what they look like in the DCU?"
I
ah.
think that's just Lex being racist. I
Yeah,
think that's just like to
I mean
show.
that too.
could be
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
completely.
that
Yeah,
that too. But also, now that you mention it, it might be because aren't white Martians pieces of shit too? Anyway,
yeah. There's supposed to
so
be the
they
bad ones, right?
yeah, so
Yeah.
they might allow.
Could be.
Well, yes and no because I do think Supergirl switched the origin around
Okay.
in the show where if they probably changed it in the comics to make it more like the show just because it's a much better backstory anyway. But I do remember in the beginning of like the early comic books where Martian Manhunter became a superhero because he felt guilty with what his race was doing to the white
Hmm.
Martians.
Okay.
So I think it was like inverse in the beginning. But yeah, the way Supergirl did it was a lot better just because like you
I did
felt
like her. Yeah.
yeah, you much more felt like a lot more sympathy for John Jones with that kind of backstory rather than like, oh, I feel guilty. And it's like, okay, but why didn't you do anything?
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
Yeah.
came here, not
Yeah.
you're not
You're not
there.
on
You're
Mars
here.
anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you're a piece of shit if you just
Yeah.
left.
I agree. I agree.
Do we
Um.
think there was a comment from like James Gunn recently, and he was like, he was asked like, is there going to be this like secret character that's the main focus point of this DC universe, similar to Lee how Rocket was for the Guardians trilogy that we didn't know about? He said yes, there was, and it's someone that you wouldn't expect. And part of me was like, is it going to be Lex Luthor? Like, are we going to ultimately try and do this thing where like Lex Luthor gets this like character development, not necessarily like a redemption arc necessarily, but maybe we'll see him grow throughout the like this 10-year plan that they got going on. And that would kind of be awesome. Very similarly what they kind of tried to do with Superman and Lois, where it's like Superman is so good and he's so hopeful and he's so inspiring that he somehow over the course of 10 years like fixes Lex Luthor. And like even there's that line where he's like, someday Luthor, I hope that you can understand what I'm doing here. I hope you can learn from all this. And it
Yeah.
would be kind of cool if that like the full circle moment in like 10 years where it's like, oh, he helps save the world, he sacrifices himself or something in that kind of arc.
That is
I
what
think they
happened in
will do.
All Star Superman.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that's why
Yeah.
James Gunn says a huge inspiration for it. It's where Superman and Lex have
Sure.
inevitably have to work together. And I mean, a lot of things have done that where Clark and Lex have to work together to get out
Yeah.
of something. Lex is a narcissist. He only really cares for himself. But the idea that he's the one to eventually save Earth and not Superman would be something he would want to do. He'd be like,
Okay.
no,
Very
look, a
cool.
human saved the
Yeah.
planet, not this Kryptonian filth.
Yeah.
He'd do something like that. And I think it one of the greatest, or not the greatest, one of my favorite things about Superman comics is when Lex is forced to begrudgingly work with Clark, either because there's a much bigger threat coming on or because
Yeah.
something is much worse is coming in the
Right.
distance or something like that. And I think that a sequel, if it is Brainiac, could have it where Clark has to go to Lex and be like, hey, I know you're in prison right now, but Brainiac's coming. He's going to start stealing cities. He's going
Classic.
to start
Yeah.
bottling them up. Like, can you help us out here a little bit? And Lex is like, why would I help you? And Clark's like,
Enemy
well,
of my
because if
enemy
humans
is my
can save the earth.
friend.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
see them
I
doing
can see
something
that.
like
I can see that for sure. Okay, let's just keep going down the list here. Thank you guys for all the comments today. It's amazing. Humanizing Superman and making that his greatest strength was really the perfect tone for today. Yeah, okay, so like let's talk about Superman itself. I feel like we're kind of going around to all the other side characters. I feel like we
Oh, we're
haven't
not gonna
talked
talk about
about.
Jimmy?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. No, I mean obviously like David Cornsweet, he plays Superman. He's going to be this kind of like face of this universe going forward. How
that. Yeah.
did we feel about David as Superman, and like what did we feel
I
about
loved it.
how they displayed his strength and his kindness and kind of how they played this character.
They did it right.
Yeah.
Like that's really he he was another person where I was hesitant to say like, oh, this is the best one, but he's the best Superman for me. I think he got
Interesting.
it.
Okay.
I think he got it for me. I think with Tyler Hoechlin was it for the longest time, and I think he was the step in the right direction where they really did capture that wholesomeness, that farm boyish aspect of it. But
Hmm.
I think if I had to critique something about Tyler Hoechlin's
Mm-hmm.
performance, which is damn near perfect, I will say, but if I
Yeah.
had to find a problem with it, it's that he never really tried to put any sort of differentiation between when he's Clark and when he's Superman.
Mm,
In the
yeah.
beginning, he kind of did. When we saw it on Supergirl, it was like very obvious. And I would say probably in the beginning of Superman and Lois, like season one specifically,
Yeah.
Season 1 had a lot of
I
those
would,
scenes.
yeah, like he was able to, be more dorky, be more like
Yeah.
Clark, especially when Superman and Lois is going to be, it was much less a show about Superman and much more a show about Clark anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It was.
so like you were able to see how like how he is, especially now he's back to his hometown in Smallville in the first season. You got to
Yeah.
see him basically be a little bit more dorky. But I feel
Yeah.
like from season two then on, they
Everyone
very,
knows.
very much
Yeah.
forgot that. Like they very much forgot that they're like, oh, these are two different characters. I guess
Mhm.
it's also because Tyler had to play three in
Yeah.
in season two specifically, because he had to play
Yeah.
Bizarro, Superman, and
Greatest
Clark Kent.
Bizarro.
Yeah.
Greatest version of Bizarro.
True, but I think with Corn Sweat, not only did he put in the effort that we haven't seen since Reeves to show the differentiation between Clark Kent and Superman, where he slouched a little bit, his hair is
Yeah.
messy. He kind of is. This is such a little thing that I picked up on, but he is quieter when he speaks as Clark.
He is.
He is a
Yeah.
little unsure, like not so confident when he's Clark.
Mm.
But the moment he's Superman, he turns it on, and he's just like when he walks into a room, you look at him.
Yeah, but also what I kind of thought was interesting is his voice is deeper as Clark, right? Like he's softer, but
deeper,
it's deeper.
It is.
And I
deeper.
think
It sounds more like somebody who's just not. They're constantly thinking about what they're going to say. They're not sure if they're, like I don't know. It feels like he's always thinking about saying the wrong word or something like that. And there's a deepness that really plays into that. Whereas with Superman, it's like he's never unsure of what he's going to say. He's like
Right.
he always knows and he's confident in what he's talking about.
And I also think that probably goes into the whole like kid thing that like David Cornsweet pitched. He's like, well, he wears the like underwear on the outside because it's like it makes kids feel safer and it makes the people feel less uncomfortable with this all powerful alien being around Earth. And I feel like that's probably a step forward of that. Is like his voice, trying to make his voice sound more softer, more confident, more soothing for people. They're not as scared. We've had Supermans where it's like he's super like deep and it's almost Batman level. It's like, all right, we can settle down a little bit there. He doesn't need to have that gravitas in his voice. So I thought that was a very interesting twist. I'm not going to say he's one of my favorite Supermen yet.
I'm not either. I think I prefer some of the others still more.
I prefer a couple others, but I think he'll get there. I think it's just
Need
like
more time.
You have 2 hours here of Superman. That's also shared with the other screen time of other characters. And so like Tyler's still mine. Reeves is still mine. Jack Quaid is still mine. But I think like that fourth, I think he's kind of fighting in that fourth area with like Brandon Routh and like some of the other ones of just like who have that similar amount of screen time right now. But again, like I've said it a bunch of times this week, it's like we're going to see this guy probably more than we've seen most Supermans outside of Tyler and Tom. So he's going to get there. Like I think by like Superman 2, I'd be like, okay, yeah, he's probably my top 3 or like top 2, top 3.
I think
he's
what really cemented for really cemented for a lot of people is if you get to see him in another movie that's like a different kind of genre. Like James Gunn was talking about like he wants to make these different movies as different genres as possible.
Yeah.
So with that, it's gonna be sort of cool where if we get to see Superman, I think David Cornsweet did an interview where he was like he would love to see Superman in an R-rated movie. I'm like, if we could see Superman in an R-rated movie and he could still be like Superman,
the same person. It's everyone around
the same
him
person,
slightly different. Like everyone around him says other things or whatever, but he is still the same character.
If we get to see Superman, like I don't know if James Gunn is ever going to do The Authority because he's been really, really, really
I don't
quiet about that.
Yeah,
But if he
yeah,
ever
I don't
if
think
he
so.
ever decides to do it and he does like a Superman versus the Authority kind of
That'd be
movie,
cool.
or maybe
yeah,
he's the villain in the Authority
yeah,
movie, that
Yeah,
would
that'd
be
be cool.
perfect. That would be
yeah.
so perfect because then you get to see like, oh my god, like yeah, he's still Superman. No matter what genre you put him in, he's
Hmm.
still going to
It's
be
him.
Superman.
Yeah,
If we
same
get a
guy.
world's finest movie and we get Batman listening to Juice World being emo as hell, you know, you and he's still going to be hopeful and be like, come on, man, like
Yeah,
doesn't hurt to
Yeah,
smile. Then
yeah.
I'll be like, okay, yeah, he's
that's
it.
No,
awesome.
I'd be
He
Yeah,
down
did
for
it.
that as well. Yeah, yeah. You
I
just take the current Superman and put him in other genres. Like,
mhm.
don't change a thing about him himself, but it's the world he's interacting with and the characters he's interacting with that are different. I would love that.
I think yeah, creatures. I'm sorry, not creatures. I think lanterns is the one I'm really curious about because up until this point we've only seen James Gunn DC Studios projects, right? Like Peacemaker, Creatures, Superman. That's all James Gunn, right? So I think lanterns and Supergirl. I'm really excited to see what those are like. What is the tone? What is the style? Because that is the thing I'm excited for, and that's something I think a lot of these other cinematic universes kind of fail to do, where it's like yes, they have their different tones and styles, but they do genuinely feel like they're kind of the same brand of movie over and over again.
They do.
So I'm really, really excited to kind of see what they have in store. Especially lanterns, it seems like lanterns is kind of pitched as this more like grounded, darker, more like crime thriller kind of show. And it's like
I mean,
that's
Lanterns is Damon Lindelof, who is one of the greatest television showrunners and writers of all time, with The
yeah,
Leftovers, Lost, Watchmen. And they're saying that it's inspired by True Detective and Fargo and stuff like that, and it's an HBO original. I think there's no way this TV show doesn't end up as like an Emmy darling, where it's just getting awards thrown at it from everyone, and it's just one of the best things that comes out on TV next year. I think it's going to be fantastic. It was my most anticipated
yeah.
project besides Superman. Now I think Supergirl is probably just in front of Lanterns, but
Wow.
Lanterns is still like right there as number 3.
I am cautiously optimistic about Lanterns just because the moment I heard it was grounded, I was like, okay.
Didn't he
Like,
clarify what he meant by that though? Didn't he change
Yeah,
what he said about
he
that?
said
I have
something
no
was
idea.
like, yeah, it's still a comic book show. He's like, yeah, they're still using their powers and stuff like that. So like, okay, thank
Okay, cool.
goodness,
Yeah.
because I
Because
think it's gonna
that was
have
my big worry. That was my big
I
worry
thought
for
the
sure.
first look was dumb. I don't think they should have done a first look that's just these
That was
two random
shit.
people
That was
in the middle of
terrible.
the
yeah,
road. Yeah.
It was just two hot men
Yeah.
with jackets on just walking.
Yeah.
I was like,
You
that
can
tells me
zoom in, you can
fucking
see a
what's wrong
difference.
with
nothing.
that, huh?
You know
No,
what? Fair. Got me there.
I think
You're right, you're right.
my hope is I hope they kind of hit this like Superman and Lois kind of like tone and style where it's like
Yeah.
that show's very grounded, but also they'll have these like big action set pieces where Superman's just battling a nuke or some shit. Like I think hopefully it'll be something like that where it's like it is grounded within its characters and focused on the characters within them, but they're also be student up and fighting bad guys and stuff like that as well, which would be ideal for me. Darth said his interactions with Lois in the interview was hilarious and deep.
That's my
I
favorite scene
think
in the film.
I was
Same.
about to say that. I think that was my favorite. That I think is the most the movie was like able to sit right. Like I would feel one of my kind of criticism is it's a very fast movie. Some of the scenes are I don't think are paced as well as I sometimes want them to be. It's a very quick movie, and I think could have used a couple of extra minutes, maybe a 10, 15 extra to kind of let things
Yeah.
just like calm down a little bit.
Sure.
But that's
Yeah.
like 10, it's like 8 minutes of screen time of
It's a
just like
long
them
scene, yeah.
in one room and having a conversation. And I think that's when this movie is at its
Beautiful.
best, when it's just two people in a room talking to each other. Same with the scene like when there's like the giant thing outside and they're just talking about like, hey, Lois, this wasn't me. Like those two scenes I think is like, oh, they get Superman. Like this
Yeah.
ultimately, this is what it's about right here. And
That
I
was
think
kind of the first time. Sorry to interrupt, but that was
no,
kind
sorry.
of the first time where I fully believed that Clark and Lois were like entering a relationship. Because
Mhm.
I was like, Superman and Lois did a very good job of making you believe that they were a married couple. Like those two were together, right?
Mhm.
But that relationship was already established, right?
Right.
They had already been together for a long time. They were married. They already had
Yeah.
kids. Yeah, like they already lived a life together. So we never really got to see like the beginning of that relationship for that
Mhm.
Yeah.
much. And I mean, I would say Smallville really has it on lock when it comes to the Clark and Lois meeting up and
Mm,
dating together because
sure.
they killed it.
Yeah.
But this was the first time where I was just like, oh, this is like, I want to root for this relationship to happen.
Yeah,
Like, I actually care about this relationship.
sure.
Because in the other ones, it it was just more so of like, oh, there's Lois Lane. All right, I'm just gonna wait for them to just get together. And I'm like, oh, what relationship
Right.
problem they're gonna have today? Like, it was just sort of like a thing I was expecting rather than being invested in.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, other than Smallville, this was the first time where I was like fully invested in the whole Clark and Lois relationship. And I'm just like, oh, I
Yeah,
really, really want them to work out. Like, I know
Yeah.
they are. I know they're going to. But I'm just
yeah.
like, I
No, they're not
really,
going to.
really want them.
Superman and
Oh,
Wonder
so
Woman.
don't tell me
That's
that.
what the sequel is. That's what the sequel
I
is.
No.
don't you dare, Connor.
I'll be back in 1 sec. I just need to let the cat out.
Okay, no, that's fine. But yeah, I do think like next to Mr. Terrific, I think Lois Lane is the best character in this movie for me, and I love that scene specifically because yes, she loves Clark, yes, she loves what they're doing here, but what she loves more is that damn truth. She will
That's right.
burn down every
Yeah.
damn bridge. She will put him on fire to get the damn truth, and that like to me
Yeah.
that like next to Betsy Pollock, I think she is already my number 2 Lois Lane of all time. Like she just like skyrocketed
Yeah.
to the very top and not a lot of screen time either, right? Like there's not a lot of her. Like she's in the first act a lot, but the rest of the movie she's kind of just there for a little bit.
You're right.
And
Yeah.
just in that those like 2 scenes where it's like, oh, she's killing this. She knows what she's doing. I think I was a little disappointed at first because I do always love that like meet cute them meeting for the first time. Superman the movie esque opening stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I do think this was the best decision to put them in where like they are dating, she knows already, but they're still working their shit out, and this is really the start of their actual relationship. She almost broke up with Clark in this movie, which was
Yeah.
a crazy choice.
Yeah, dude, like, that I will say, like, that was the one performance that didn't really like, I still loved it, but it didn't really make me claim, like, number 1. Like, I think Bitsy Tolik will still be number 1 as
Agreed.
Lois for me, but
Agreed.
I think that's just 'cause of, like, what Bitsy Tolik went through on the show.
Oh,
Like,
It
they
was
made her
insane.
go through a miscarriage, they made her go through breast cancer. She was, like, literally the glue holding the family together for the longest time because the
was her
pilot of
show.
that yeah, like,
It's
the
literally
pilot
called
opened up
Superman and Lois. Like
and
it was her
Lois.
show as much as
Yeah,
it
like,
was
the
Clark's
pilot
show.
opened up with her being like, "Yo, Clark, you're gonna have to be more active in these kids' lives." Like,
Yeah.
it really was that. It's like, you missed therapy with Jordan again. Like, you need to be more active in these kids' lives. They're gonna be growing up. So,
Yeah.
I think Lois really did carry the show. So, I think it's gonna be a very, very high bar to beat. But Rachel Brosnahan killed it
Oh, she's
in this
great
role.
in this.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I cannot
So
wait to
good.
Lois
see more of
Lane
her.
Lois Lane has always been one of my most, like, favorite fictional characters
Same.
ever,
I
just
love
Agreed.
it.
because
Yeah.
I love that aspect of her of, like, she's literally willing to die to figure out the truth. She's willing to
Yeah.
burn any bridge she could to find
Yeah.
out the truth. Like what, Darren was mentioning earlier, Connor, where he was just like, yeah, like, she was literally willing to break up with Superman
Yeah.
to figure out, like, the truth and, like, get
Yeah.
down to the bottom of this. Like, that is just the type of person that she is, and I
Yeah.
love that because I'm a sucker more for someone who's very hardened and, like, just very, like, hard-headed, and they
Yeah.
later soften over time,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I've always loved that arc of Lois because that always was hers, where she was very, like, because of the way she grew up, she was a military brat with,
Yeah.
Yeah.
her mother not ever being in her life. You have, her father who's, like, the head of the DOD. Like, that was always kind of like she grew up in a very much tough love kind of environment, so that's how
Yeah.
she, like, rubbed off, and then she meets Clark, who did not grow up with that kind of tough love. He was very much, like, soft love, nurtured, but he wasn't babied. Like, he had
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
perfect blend of, like, he was raised well, and he could still take care of himself, so she kinda looked at him and was like, "Oh, I guess I could be nicer to people.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I don't have to be an asshole all the
Yeah.
time to get what I need done."
No, I love that. I think the Smallville Erica Durant's Lois is probably always going to be my favorite for the same reason. Like Tom Welling's Clark is always probably going to be my favorite. It's just
Fair enough,
growing up
yeah.
with 10 seasons of Smallville, it's hard not to have a
200
huge
plus
connection to
episodes.
the 222 episodes I think, or 224 was the total, which is a crazy amount. But like the Lois and Clark will they won't they thing in Smallville is probably my favorite version of it. It's because I think it's exactly what you're saying, where Lois comes into Smallville as somebody who's like not hardened necessarily, but like somebody who's, you know, really trying to do everything herself, and she just keeps making fun of Clark. She keeps calling him little like
Hmm.
annoying names, of that, being really mean to him, really hostile to him all the time. And then slowly over the next few seasons, she starts to see him as a really good friend, and then eventually falls in love with him. And I think it's going to be really hard for something to beat the slow burn love of Clark and Lois in Smallville for me. But I thought, you know, Bitsy Tulloch easily second place for me. Like, she is so good in Superman and Lois.
Yeah.
Just the writing she gets and the acting she puts out. Like, was it season 1, episode 8, where we get the flashbacks to her, and then she has her where she
Oh,
starts shouting at Jonathan and all that
Yeah.
stuff. It's so good and so powerful.
genuinely one of the best episodes
It's so
of
good.
That
It's
of the
so
that's my
good.
favorite
show, not
episode.
even just the
Holding the
season, but of
wrench.
the
That's the name of it.
show.
Yeah,
Yes, that's the
it's so
title of
good.
it.
So good.
Genius
Uh,
title, by the
I
way.
know, it's great. It
Yeah.
is great. It is great.
Like, and I love that you get immediately what the title was referencing in the beginning,
Yeah.
because then you see
Mhm.
Jonathan holding the wrench, and
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, so that's what this episode's gonna be about.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good.
No, that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite episode of the whole show. I think that's
I
like
think
Same.
my
Yeah,
favorite
that's what I'm
definitive for
saying.
me.
Like, I think that is probably second best, because I really did. I think this is what Connor was gonna say. I did really like a brief reminiscence in between cataclysmic events.
That's my second favorite. My current favorite
Really?
is, I'm forgetting the name of it. Season 4, episode 7. The moment inside the diner where Emmett Purdandi comes in, shoots the bullet,
Okay.
and Clark reveals
Oh,
himself. That's my favorite episode
Yeah.
of the show. Yeah.
holy shit!
What a
Really?
brief reminiscence
Okay.
is second place, though. That one is also the best Superman
Holy.
origin of all time. Is that episode? I think.
Yes. Agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Some bangers, some bangers. Nico says there is a huge plot hole in Superman. We couldn't see
No.
Superman with his X-ray vision.
Right, is it?
See Ultraman's face. He
It looked like
should've-
it was they didn't say it, so I will
They didn't
give
say
him that.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
will give him that. They didn't technically say it, but I just assumed it was lead.
I thought the
Mhm.
goggles weren't, which is why Ultraman could still use his vision. But I think the rest of the outfit looked like it was lined in lead, like the inside of it was.
Yeah, like like I kind of picked this comment for it can be like a nice transition to the Ultraman stuff as a whole, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I do think this is one of them where it's like, yes, it could have been lead. Two, though, like I think this is one of those powers where, like, if I nitpick every time Superman couldn't see through something or didn't get somewhere fast enough, I don't think I could enjoy any Superman adaptation because that's
Yeah,
always
absolutely.
going to be there. Like it's the same thing with the Flash, where like I never had a problem with like someone getting away because I understand you literally couldn't have a show if people didn't get away, or there
Every
would be
episode
stuff
would.
with Barry Steve.
Suspension
Like
of disbelief. Like, the show
like
must go on. Like,
yes, it's like I understand those are plot holes, but it's either that or we literally don't have a TV show to watch. So it's like this is one where like I have no problem with you like pointing this out. I think that's incredible. You know,
mhm.
like, I think that's a good thought that be having. Like, huh, that's funny. He didn't need to say it. But yeah, I do think it could have been led. You know, like Thor
it's
said that like
it's the
he
same
like
thing
knew
with
about.
yes, the same thing with Smallville, where like anytime Clark runs to his dad about like a meteor freak, he's
Mhm.
always just like, Clark, even though you have all the superpowers in the world,
There's
and even
no
though you literally,
superhero.
yeah, even though you literally defeated a meteor freak who could, I don't
Yeah,
know, like steal hunger, steal fat from people,
yeah.
this power that you're describing is unrealistic, son. Come
Impossible,
on.
Clark.
It's impossible, Clark. There's no way. And it's
No,
just like,
literally.
come on, like that's
Yeah,
just the kind of thing that always happens in these kinds of shows,
Yeah,
especially when you have a 22 episode count for a
yeah,
show, and
gotta make them.
because it's a network, there's a certain template you have to follow, where I think they later got looser with that, as we saw with the Arrowverse, because it was much more serialized and connected rather than like freak of the week kind of thing.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
with Smallville, that was like the prime of network television, so they had to make sure that every episode was someone's first one. So, like, that's just one of those things where it's just like, I know it's ridiculous. You kind of just have to accept it and move on. Cause, like,
Yeah.
that was one of those things of, was it, to use the Smallville example, was it season 4 or season 3 where like Alicia Baker came back for that
Season 4,
two-parter?
yeah.
Connor, you might,
Season 4.
season 4, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like, that was like technically his first girlfriend, and he literally sees her die. Like, he sees her dead body and cries about it. And then the very next episode, he had to like go to like a college admissions because he got a scholarship for football. And it's like Alicia was not even mentioned, but like that performance Tom Welling gave was so like devastating,
You want it
and
to
it's like
stick with
never.
him. Yeah, you want
Yeah,
it to be something he's grieving over for the next half a season.
exactly.
Mhm.
But like again, like that's just how it is at that time, where it's
Yeah.
just like you have to let it go.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
just all things. Like again with the Flash, where it's like, oh no, he underestimated the powers of a metahuman again, leading them to get away.
Yeah.
Darn. And it's just like the show must go on. Like that's just something
Yeah.
you have to just let go of to keep going to keep
You,
watching.
you you bring up that it's like, why does Oliver ever have any problem ever in Arrow when the Flash could just
Yeah.
come in and just save the day
Oh
every
yeah.
time?
Exactly.
He like teams
Yeah,
up with like the mafia
Oliver
instead
only
of
has
calling
24
Barry.
arrows.
Yeah,
Oliver
yeah,
only carries
exactly. He was
24
24. Yeah,
arrows, which is very, very little, but whatever. Like, he only carries
Yeah.
24 arrows, but I've definitely seen him shoot more than 24
no, he's
times, and
shot so many more times than that.
yeah, especially in a oneer. So it's just like,
Yeah.
it's just one of those, it's suspension of disbelief. Or like the Talkville podcast that I've been watching, the suspenders of disbelief. You got to put on the suspenders of disbelief and just move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I agree.
I did want to ask you guys about like the ultimate side of it though, because like this is another one. Adrian, you said you didn't know about him being in this movie, right? Like you had no
Nah,
idea.
yeah, at all.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we knew. I do remember, like very early on, like people asked, like, "Hey, is like Ultraman in this movie? Like, is he going to be the villain?" And James was like, "No, nuh-uh, nope. I don't know what you're talking about." And then like a year later, we saw like set photos and stuff. It was like, "That's Ultraman. That's
I
him."
Oh, damn.
remember at first people were like, "No, it's not Ultraman. It's Ulysses." Remember that one character who showed up in Action Comics for like 3 issues
Yeah.
5 years ago? Everyone was like, "Well, if James Gunn's saying it's not Ultraman, then it's obviously Ulysses." And everyone
Mhm.
was like, "Why would Ulysses be a main villain in the new big Superman film that's supposed to restart the DCU? They're not going to do that."
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that sounds really intimidating. Here comes
Yeah,
Ulysses. I'm like, the
it's like
president?
what? What?
Yeah. I I've heard some people say they were disappointed with Ultraman. That they wanted him for a bit more, and I guess I'm okay with what we got. Like I'm not like floored. I wasn't like floored with Ultraman, but like man, Ultraman was so good in this movie. But I think he played his role, I think, to
He
the
did what he was
best of his
supposed to.
ability,
Yeah, he did what he was supposed to.
especially for setting him up for more. Right? Like this seems like a character. No matter what he's going to do with him, he's going to come back as some kind of version of
Yeah,
Clark, some kind of
I
version
think
of
that's why they did it in the first place. Because
yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's
either
we
set
like
up
a
something
lot
else.
of people who like even me, like I'm a comic book reader, I just didn't know Ultraman was in this movie. Like it wasn't gonna be a big reveal to me when they took the mask off because I knew it was
Yeah,
gonna be Clark. I knew
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Especially since they made it, at least for me, I kind of clocked it very early where they
Mhm.
just waltzed in the fortress where I was just
yeah.
like, oh, because it's
Because
Because
Clark.
it's
it's him.
Clark.
Right.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah,
Cool. But yeah, like for the thing for me was just that was kind of like, oh, they're definitely gonna bring it back.
Yeah,
Like the clones of Superman never ever seem to
yeah,
go away
no,
because
they're always.
other than Ultraman, the other big Superman clone is Connor Kent, and
yeah.
he's never just going to be a one and done either. Because that, especially if they
Mhm.
plan
He
on
was
doing a
effective.
Titans kind of thing.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's
Yeah,
like I knew that he's definitely going to come back for more. I don't know which route they're going to go. I would love them to go the Bizarro route.
I
yeah,
think it's Earth 3. I think they're gonna do Earth 3.
I think that's probably what they're gonna do because I would love to do it, and I think Superman. I think James Gunn would probably really like to do the Bizarro thing because he could
I think he
probably
would
lean
as
into
well.
the
I think he'd want
goofiness.
to do that at some point. Yeah,
But I think he probably have to put his own personal like obsession aside with the goofy stuff, and it's like no, like
yeah,
people are not really gonna be more invested in that because you can't do what Superman and Lois did.
yeah,
Like if you were gonna make people take Bizarro seriously, you do what Superman and Lois did, but that's
yeah,
but
already
it's
done.
already been done super recently as well. It's not even like it was
yeah,
done 15
Exactly.
years ago. It was done what 3 years ago at this point. Like, yeah,
At this
it's a
rate, yeah,
recent.
because it's 2025, yeah,
Yeah,
roughly. So it's
But
just like,
even
yeah,
then, like
they would
like
have to be
having
confident with it.
having Bizarro be this like, oh, it starts off at this person and then it turns into Bizarro does already feel very Superman and Lois coded. It's like, oh yeah, they kind of did the like transitional
Yeah.
thing, one character to another, which involves Bizarro. I think like I'm kind of down with either. I think Bizarro makes sense though in terms of like the narrative they're telling here, right? Like this being a story about like, well, the people don't trust Clark, and this like stuff comes out about Clark about being this overlord and being this big thing they had to worry about, I think makes sense to at least have some kind of evil Kryptonian character to come in, if not in the next one, in that third one, if that is Zod, if that is Bizarro, if that is over, like it
Yeah,
feels
that would
like
be
there's going to
Ultraman as
be,
well, though. Like comic book
yeah, it
Ultraman
could
would
be,
be that
it
like
could be,
evil
yeah,
Kryptonian thing. It still plays the same of an evil Kryptonian,
sure,
but Clark's face coming in
sure.
to
Yeah,
like
Do you
prove
think that
them.
would be
yeah.
a Superman movie, or do you think that'd be like Justice League?
I think it'd have to be Justice League, right? If you're
Justice
doing
League.
Crime Syndicate.
Yeah,
You got to do the crimes, and you can't just do Ultraman.
No,
yeah,
yeah. You need the whole you need Elman, you need
Yeah, because
Superwoman, which is just Lois, evil Lois. Like
yeah.
that'd be cool. Johnny Quick, you need Power Ring,
But
all these guys, the Grid.
I don't know if I'd want that for like the first Justice League though. You know what
I
I mean? Like
I
like
probably
that like
wouldn't
that
either.
feels
Yeah.
like Justice League 2
yeah,
or something.
yeah. I wouldn't, unless there's like some really cool like message or like story that build up to it that could be
Yeah.
easily paid off. That's why I've kind of been more of like I would really like a Bizarro because it would also kind of cement the fact of there was like a little argument in the comments here about Superman killing or whatever. But it's
Yeah,
like
so
you could easily bring that back of
yeah.
just like have him has the Ultraman become like come back as
Yeah.
Bizarro and have some sort of hatred. I was like, dude, like you kind of threw me into the black hole. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
I thought you were
Yeah.
all
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
saved
yeah.
a squirrel, but not me. Like,
Yeah.
there would be some good like material to work with there, like a good motivation.
Yeah.
Like, they could easily tie that back.
I'd
Mhm.
also love to see David playing in a more corrupted version of Superman. Like I know
Sure.
we've seen this
Especially
in
since the
every single
clone,
version. Yeah.
yeah. But it's
Yeah.
like, especially with the clone thing where they like Lex explicitly said that he was just like, oh, like he's dumb as hell.
Yeah.
Like,
Brain beats
we have
brawn.
to tell him what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of fun to have like Superman has to save Lex from his own creation, being like, "You dumbass, you did this, and I have to save you from it,
I,
fucking
s-
idiot."
I saw a lot of people say that they think Ultraman in this was really heavily inspired by Black Noir from The Boys because I got
I
like
saw
big
that.
vibes
Yeah.
when Black Noir when it was Eve in the bathroom and she was like sending the or not the bathroom like was it like a utility closet or something that she was standing there sending the talking to Jimmy on the phone sending all the pictures to her and then we cut
Mhm.
to Black Noir just sitting there staring and then he turns to look at where the direction of his voice is coming from. That felt like
Yeah.
a scene from The Boys with Black Noir, but also like in The Boys comics. Black Noir is a
He's
clone of Homelander.
Homelander.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like it does kind of feel like maybe he got a bit of influence there where it's not a clone of Homelander, it's a clone of Superman because
Yeah.
the
Superman.
TV
Yeah.
show obviously didn't do that. So,
Yeah. It's like
I don't know.
a cyclical kind of
Yeah,
thing where it's just
everything
like
inspires
Superman
everything.
inspired Homelander, so
Yeah.
Homelander
Yeah.
inspired Superman, so then Superman's gonna inspire.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, like when it comes to comic books, everyone inspires everything. Like you can't say, "Oh, hey, this thing copied this thing," because the thing you're saying copied that thing was probably heavily inspired by
Yeah.
something else.
Especially since comic books have been around since like at least with superhero comics, they've been around since 1939. We have told every story ever at least 5 times up to this point.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
County Shape says, I also hear the complaint that Superman needed help. Like Superman has always needed help in some form. Look at the movies, cartoons. Yeah, no, like
yeah.
I kind of had a problem with my first viewing of it, and it kind of cleared up the second time around. But like, there is that like that very iconic like trailer shot of like all the kids like holding up their flags, and like it's
Yeah.
like okay, Superman's gonna come in
Love
and
that
save
scene.
them, and it's the like Justice Gang. At first, I didn't really like that scene because I felt like I wanted more of a like a visual of Superman like inspiring them and like standing up. But like there is that scene of like Tucker like watching the like TV and it all happening and them being like,
Yeah.
"Gosh damn it! All right, let's go do that." But like I do ultimately really like that narrative of like Superman's greatest superpower is how he inspires people and how he puts people together and how he makes everyone want to do the best thing they can possibly do. I maybe would have liked a little bit of more focus on that, like getting to see the people's kind of like view side of what's going on and some of these heroes being like, "Oh, I get it now, okay," instead of them
Yeah.
just showing up instantly. Like I just wanted like a little bit more. I think that would have made that scene hit as hard because like the first time it happened, I was like, "What the fuck? It was supposed to be Superman. What the hell?" But like I can understand like, okay, that's what they're trying to do here. Did you guys feel this way? Like, were you guys like, why does he need so much help, or were you guys okay with with everything they did there?
I don't necessarily saw it as him needing help. I'm more because like Clark had already gotten out of. I mean, yeah, I guess he needed Metamorpho's help to get out of the prison cell to begin with, but it was not necessarily he needed help. He just needed to tell Metamorpho to stop having kryptonite out, and then he could do everything else himself. Like Mr.
Yeah.
Terrific, opened the black hole portal, but Superman at that point had already gotten out of his prison cell.
Mhm.
And with the other thing, I didn't necessarily see that as Superman needing help. I more so saw it as him inspiring other heroes to be as good as he is. Like he's just making it so that other heroes, like the reverse Kingdom Come argument, instead of Superman needing to come back to the world to inspire heroes, instead now he's in the world and inspiring heroes that are already there to be better than they are. And I think that's kind of just what that was about, was just him making Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl better people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's why what James Gunn chose Guy Gardner specifically, because that's the one Green Lantern that's just like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like that's what he's known for, and I
Yeah.
think that's why he has all those other superheroes out there. I think it's sort of a blend of both. I do still think he needed help, but I think he took it as an opportunity to be like, well, like we still need to spread hope to this planet. Like
Mm-hmm.
you guys need to do better.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying you have to be exactly like me, and Hawkgirl very clearly did not do that because
No.
she just
No.
Not
dropped the
Superman.
Baravian president. But he was very much leaning into that kind of argument of like, listen, like we as superheroes, as people with powers, we have a responsibility to
Yeah.
be nicer to people,
Mm.
to make sure that everyone feels safe and all that kind of
People
stuff.
need
So
to look
I
up.
never, yeah. So it's like, and also Superman has always needed help, like always. Like that's kind
Yeah.
of every time in the comic books. It's very rarely has he ever figured everything out himself. That's why
Yeah.
Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen are such an integral part of the supporting cast of Superman, because he had always needed their help. It's the same reason why with Batman he always had Alfred, because
Yeah.
like he needed Alfred's help.
Yeah.
Like it's also kind of similar to that argument of like, oh, I don't like that Batman has such a large like superhero family. He's a loner. It's like, as a matter of fact, he's never been a loner.
Yeah.
Like this
He's
man
always had
is
someone there.
yeah, he's always taking in strays. Like always, he always feels the need to like save people, always make them to be better people. So it's just kind of that thing where I think people kind of have also unrealistic expectations, because I guess in a
Absolutely.
comic book you can just make Superman the main character, because
Yeah.
with a comic book you only have 24 pages or sometimes 48 pages to tell the story,
Yeah.
so you don't really need a supporting cast. But when you're making a TV show, when you're making a movie, you
You need
need other
everybody else.
characters. You
You can't
need the
just
other characters. It can't just be him, because it's going to be very, very boring.
it would get super
You need
boring super
someone
fast.
for him to talk to. You need someone to like clash with, someone to bring in a different kind of perspective to things.
Yeah.
So that's just like the magic of movie making and
Yeah.
TV making, where like your loner superhero will never be alone. That's actually the whole arc of Oliver Queen in Arrow, where he was just like, I'm
He
a
starts
loner,
off
and
alone
then
and now he needs
within
everybody.
3 episodes in, he was just like, no, I need Diggle. Like
Yeah.
I need someone else in here because I can't be doing this alone.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like it's you need that cast. It's also it's characters dynamics with other characters who have maybe conflicting ideologies or conflicting ideas or conflicting things that they agree or don't agree about is what makes characters interesting. I can't think of a single character who's interesting because it's just them on their own. They're interesting because of how
Exactly.
they deal with the world around them and with the characters around them. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like I'm really excited where we kind of take like Superman kind of in this next like these next couple projects. Like I'm excited to kind of see it. Like I think he has a really good arc here about like I think how they write Clark here is very interesting, because he does sometimes come across as a little bit of a dick. And I think that's kind of an interesting approach to take him, right? Like he is so passionate about like his stance, and he's so like this is the way things need to go,
God,
that
I
he
could be
does.
such a jerk sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
he got on
Yeah, like
Mr.
Right.
Terrific's ass for being a little.
Yeah.
like it's so like it comes from a place of love, and it comes from a place of just wanting everyone to be safe and be okay. But sometimes it does come across to people's emotions of just like, oh, I was kind of mean there. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I think it's very interesting.
What the hey, dude?
What the
Yeah.
hey, dude? Gotta get back into the fray. A lot of great things he says that feel like they're from the 1940s or 1950s.
Yeah.
I
love
love
it.
that. We never
Um,
heard Perry White say "Great Caesar's Ghost."
Oh, I wanted it
And
so bad, and he kept telling Jimmy to not call him Chief.
mm,
oh my god,
Yeah,
yes, that was such a good thing too.
yeah.
I guess that's kind of another, like, to talk about like the like Daily Planet of everything. That was another thing I think I was just like slightly a little disappointed with, which I loved what was there for most of them, except for one character, I guess. But I really just craved more of that because it's so good and so accurate. I think that was the one thing I was like really craving going into the movie because I feel like we don't get to see that a lot. Like outside of like Smallville, I guess it's normally, Superman's out on his thing. Like Superman Lois didn't really do it, and obviously Supergirl didn't, and stuff like that. So I was really excited to see this cast really interacting. It's like Perry White didn't have a lot to do. Like that actor had more in Thunderbolts than he did Superman, which is crazy. Um,
That's funny.
like Jimmy Olsen didn't really spend time with Superman. Like they had like two scenes in the movie, and that not like they're not really that relevant. I think Cat had the perfect amount. Like I thought Cat was fine, but like I do really hope for the sequel there is a much bigger focus on Clark Kent in the like Daily Planet doing that stuff with that cast that I would personally like to see. And like I get it, it's a Superman movie. People don't want to see like this like journalism movie. Like I get that. I really, really do. But for me personally, maybe again just like 10 extra minutes, just sprinkle in just a
Yeah.
little bit more in here.
I
I
mean,
think
but
would have
also to
satisfied
back up
me.
your point, and to use James Gunn's words against him, it's like, yeah, it's about time we get a Superman movie that focuses on the man part of Superman,
Yeah,
not just super. And I
right.
think him working at the Daily Planet, you know, are I think working at the Daily
Yeah,
Planet, it would be the perfect thing to show
Yeah.
about
I
Clark
wanted
Kent
yeah.
more of it.
working. Those
Like
I would love to see a Daily Planet
I'd
show,
like that
like
too.
as
Yeah,
like sort similar to like The Office or something like that,
yeah.
like or some sort of like workplace comedy. I would genuinely love
I'd
that.
like that too. I would too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like super like Clark Kent is missing for like what 2 days, 3 days, and like
Harry
he didn't
never
show up to
mentions it
work. No, yeah,
when
like
the
no one
one.
mentions like, hey, where's
Yeah,
Kent?
when they're
Like
doing
he has
the
a
ending,
deadline due today. Like, come on, dude.
Harry's assembling all the Daily Planet people, where he's like, "How many seats can it hold?" He's like, "All right, Lombard, you're in two or whatever." Like, I really, really, really would have liked one line of dialogue there where he's like, "Where's Kent? We could use him on this." And then Lois is
Yeah,
like, "Clark's sick today or something," and he's like, "All right,
yeah,
Lombard, you come then." Like,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
if Kent's not here, then get Lombard on it, like something like that. Like, I
Right.
just
Yeah,
also Ron Troop.
Lombard
There
was
was
great
like
too.
zero
Yeah,
Ron Troop stuff.
yeah,
And I think, like James Gunn said, that there was a whole intro scene for him that got cut.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I would have liked more Clark Daily Planet. That's one of my two complaints. My two criticisms is the one, the Daily Planet stuff, and two, the Kent scenes. As much as I love Martha and Jonathan both being alive, I didn't love that the implication was that Clark doesn't necessarily talk to the Kents a whole lot anymore. Like when
Mm,
Jonathan gets Lois's name wrong, where he's like,
I
"What's
have
her
a
name,
rebuttal
Lewis
for
or
that.
whatever?" And I was like, does this mean that Clark hasn't told them about Lois? Does this mean Clark doesn't,
mm,
call them to talk a whole lot? I don't know. I wasn't
I have a
crazy.
rebuttal for that, and I think that's
Okay.
was part of his arc.
Okay.
Right,
Where
where
he's back
you
to
saw
that
in
now.
the beginning
Yeah.
of when he entered the fortress, he was listening to his Kryptonian parents, and then when you
Yeah.
see at the end, you get to see his adoptive parents, basically cementing it as like, okay, no, these are my real parents. Like,
yeah,
I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
was kind of, I did feel some type of way about that too, because
Yeah. It was
I
only
do
the
like the
second
fact,
much it hurt me on. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I think that the reason why I was able to excuse it was because I thought that was part of the arc. It kind of felt like it was,
Yeah.
where
I can see that.
sort of similar to how it was with the flashbacks of Superman and Lois season one. I
hmm
think that's where they were trying to go with it, where it's like the moment Clark Kent decided, no, I need to get out of Smallville and go to Metropolis, he kind of felt like, oh, this is my time to become a superhero, to become my own person. And
Yeah.
when you're young, that like you always have that mindset of like, oh, becoming my own person
Hard time.
means like, yeah, I gotta isolate myself from my parents. I don't need my parents anymore. And then as you get older, you start to realize, well, it's like, no,
yeah,
your parents are always going to be in your life. Like, it's sort of like that happy medium of like, okay,
yeah,
you can still take care of things yourself, but you have to make sure that you
Yeah.
still have that love, that have that parents in your life. And I think
Sure.
that's kind of what we learned. I hope that in the sequel they'll get a much closer relationship to
I
kind
yeah.
hope
of
so. Yeah.
to kind of clarify that that was part of the arc. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. I can see all that. Yeah, and I do hope that there's much more of them in the sequel. Like there doesn't
Yeah.
need to be whole entire parts of the film about them, but I
Mhm.
just would like a little more. Like even if the sequel starts with Clark, at the Kent farm or whatever, and there's sort of an implication that he's been telling them about his life and how things are going recently, that would be enough for me. That'd be enough to be like, okay, off screen, he still talks to them a lot. I just, it was in this film where I felt it, definitely on my second watch. But yeah, if it's part of the arc, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I think they are like arguably the core of the movie. And like that's another part where it's like, yeah, maybe I would have liked maybe one or two more scenes of it. But yeah, I do
Yeah.
think like we haven't dived into the whole like Krypton twist they did on the narrative, which I feel like we can do in a second here because I feel like that's a thing, right? But like
Yeah.
I do really, really love the kind of course of the narrative of like where you come from is not who you are. You get to decide what makes you a hero and like what makes you a good man, and that is like that only comes when like Jonathan Kent gets to come in here and be like just kind of like readjust his view on the world and like readjust his headspace. I did think Jonathan and Martha were perfectly cast. I know there's some people that
Yeah, they were.
said they were a little, like too stereotypical. I think
I
they.
disagree with that. I don't think they were stereotypical at all.
This is the one time I believe
Yeah,
they were Kansas
I
farmers.
yeah,
agree.
they
This is
looked
the one
like
time.
real people. Like, they don't look like, as much as I love Jonathan and Martha in Smallville, they
Yeah,
look like,
I was I was
Hollywood.
gonna mention
Yeah,
that. But I think for me, with the parents in Smallville, I think for me it's just that because of the knowledge I have of their other appearances, so I kind of never really saw them as Jonathan and Martha Kent. I was like, that's the guy from Dukes of Hazzard, and
yeah,
that's Lana Lang.
from Superman 3.
yeah.
like
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I
Yeah,
just I just kept thinking that. I'm just like, why is Lana Lang
yeah.
lecturing him about Lana Lang? I'm confused.
It's like, yeah, too much Crisis Infinite Earths. What's going on? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what did you guys think? And I feel like this is the like biggest like controversy of the movie so far. And like when it happened, I wasn't mad that it happened, but I was like, oh no, this is going to be the main topic point for the
The
next
main
5 years.
yeah,
Um, it's revealed like Superman has this message and he holds it dearly, like this is what they wanted for me. And then Lex does his thing, and it's revealed that they want him to come to Earth and take over and have this harem and destroy, like enslave the Earth and all this kind of fun stuff. And there's been so much back and forth on this. And, like, is this okay to change from the comics? Is this really what they're doing? Are they
I
going
mean,
to change it? Blah blah blah.
comics have
It's
done it.
not
How
the
do we
first time they
feel?
did
Yeah,
this though.
comics have
How do you
done it.
guys feel?
Marvel did it. My Adventures with
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superman touched on it.
Yeah.
Like, it's been done in Superman lore so many
Yeah.
times. I'm really surprised so many people have a problem with it.
I think it really is just like people who want to be mad. Like
Yeah,
no matter what they do, it just sounds like the monkey trolls from the movie. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just those are just one of those people that just want it. They just want to be mad. They just want to be angry about something.
like, I hate that this
Like
film
they
is good. Let me think of something to be mad at.
exactly they have to find a problem with it. They can't just
Yeah,
enjoy it for what it is.
yeah.
Like it's because like again, this is not the first time something
No,
has like because Smallville, like you said, very much leaned onto it, and they like went far with it, like it almost to the point where I kind of don't really buy Jor-El's redemption arc towards the later seasons of Smallville, just because like that guy was a massive
yeah.
piece of shit
It's like,
in
you
the
gotta
early
invade, Clark.
seasons.
You gotta conquer.
Yeah,
It's like,
like that
what?
was wild.
Yeah,
I haven't seen season two of My Adventures with Superman, but I know in season one they did kind of lean into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um, like there are so many comics themselves where they really did lean into that. Yeah,
yeah,
depending on the writer, they kind of disregard their own canon because you'll get one writer in Action Comics or in the mainline Superman comic where they lean into the fact of like, oh no, like he has a loving family, he has two moms and two dads, right? And it's like, okay, sure, but then the very next writer you be like, oh no, like my Kryptonian parents were like pieces of shit. They were invaders, they were colonizers, they were kind of stuff like that. That's kind of what Kara Zor-El's backstory
yeah.
is,
Zor-El
where
is a
Zor-El
piece
is
of shit. Yeah,
awful. Like
he's a piece of shit.
Zor-El is a genuine piece of shit. Like he
Yeah,
was terrible. They kind of in the comics, and I'm really glad that the show did it as well, where um in the comics, like Zor-El is one of the reasons why Krypton blew up. Like he knew about it and ignored it. So that the whole Kryptonian, I think it makes it believable because it's like the Krypton blew up, and in order
Yeah.
for that to happen, that means Kryptonians, as much as they like to look down on humans because of whatever the hell problem that they have with us, it's just like, yeah, but at least our planet still exists.
Yeah,
For the record, like you let your
we're
planet
still
blow up.
here. We're still
Yeah,
here.
like
Where's
you're so
Krypton?
quick to judge, but you're a flawed race because you couldn't put past your egos and you let the planet blow up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it's just
yeah.
that kind of thing.
I feel
People
like it's
just
a
want to be
flip of a
mad.
coin. I feel like it's a flip of a coin where the Krypton's going to be portrayed as good or bad. Like
Yeah.
there's enough versions of it where Zor-El or Jor-El
Mhm.
or the government of Krypton itself have played a role in the planet's destruction or have
I do
done
think they're
something.
gonna backtrack a little bit on it though.
I think
I
it's a Brainiac thing, personally.
I think I don't know about that. I think they're
I
gonna
think
make
he
it
messed
more
with it.
nuanced. I think there's gonna be
Okay.
more nuance where it's like they were kind of pieces of shit,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
they had like sort of good intentions. Like it's more of a nuance thing because if they ever plan on doing General Zod, then you
Yeah.
they basically made General Zod right. Where I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
maybe I'm on Zod's side because
Yeah.
Jor-El is not good,
Not the guy.
and not
He's
a
not
good
the guy
person.
to hang out with.
Yeah. We've had so
Yeah,
I
many
don't.
so
Zods, but like
I
I
don't think he'll
kind
be
of
a
think
Zod.
I don't. I would kind of really like it though. Like I know he's been done a lot, but also like with this narrative like that they're telling here, I kind of want to see what this version of it looks like. Especially like like what I said. Like what we had said. Like like we don't trust Clark because he's from this other planet. It makes sense
Yeah,
to have someone come down and be like, oh, that's who we should have been afraid of, not this
yeah.
guy. Like I think that's a cool little arc you can go down.
that's kind of
Um,
what Smallville did too,
It
where
yeah,
is. Yeah.
because Clark disliked Jor-El so much that Brainiac was able
Get
to
him
like,
to trick him.
yeah, to trick him into thinking like, no, Zod was the good person of Krypton. You want to be it, which led to Clark freeing Zod, and then he's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I fucked up. Zod's a piece of shit. My bad.
yeah,
Jarrell, come back, please. Like
I'm
it's
sorry. I'm sorry.
yeah,
yeah.
please. No, for
No,
sure.
like I would kind of like if they like really committed to it. Like I kind of don't want them to be like, oh nope, they were good the whole time, and it was just a thing from whatever. I kind of like this. Like no, they sucked, and Clark has to deal with that, and maybe he
Yeah,
does interact with them at some point, and maybe he has to change their mind. Of like you were wrong. You were
yeah,
wrong about this. I cannot believe this is where I come from, and finding a middle ground of like, okay, maybe you have a point, Clark. Maybe there is a world where we were wrong about this, and finding that middle space.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think as well. It's like there's definitely going to be a lot more to it from Jor-El himself. Like whether it's more videos or more explanations, or if Clark and Jor-El are able to have a conversation somewhere. Because I just think you don't cast Bradley Cooper for a
Yeah,
30 seconds of
cameo.
screen time in
Yeah,
the film.
That's true.
I think he's
yeah,
I
probably
mean,
going to come
also
back in the sequel.
we're gonna get Supergirl,
Supergirl's
and
going to play in it as well, for sure.
that's where they're gonna cover it the most. I feel
Absolutely, absolutely.
so.
yeah. Harrison brings up like talking about like because of this is why she's been drowning herself in into her sorrows and
Yeah,
her kind of depressions. Like I think that could be a really interesting narrative. I do wonder I've heard people bring up it's like why didn't Clark talk to Kara about it when she came to the fortress? I'll be like, hey, can we talk about something real quick? Oh no, she's
she
gone.
was
All right,
gone. He probably knew
yeah,
she was drunk. He was like, "She's drunk. I'm not bringing this up now."
right, yeah,
He was
like
like,
bring it
"I'm
up
waiting until she's
later.
sober. I'm waiting until
Yeah,
she's sober."
I think I hope maybe the Supergirl movie kind of talks about how they met
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
feel like
flashback. Yeah,
that could play into it maybe because it's just like it might have been one of those things where they were so glad to find someone else that's them because they're the last two of their
yeah,
yeah,
planet. So I think that might be where like that kind of strife, that conflicts come from, where like they want to talk to each other, but they realize that they're just different people. Clark is coming from this place of like, oh, I want to know more about my
yeah,
home, but I never lived there, so I don't have the trauma of that because
right,
even landing here, I grew up with very good parents that took care of me and
right.
stuff like that.
yeah,
So like I really don't understand this conflict of Krypton and him asking questions to Kara is just like, okay, well you just told her to talk about her most deep worst memory of her life,
Yeah.
she's naturally not gonna want to talk about anything like that
Yeah.
for the moment. And I think that's probably why she's like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's why she goes to the Red Suns, where she
I could see
comes
that.
in and then Clark kind of becomes like too overbearing, like too
Yeah.
warm, too friendly, where she's just like,
And she's
I
like,
don't like
can't
this.
do it.
I,
Can't
I
do it.
gotta go. I
Yeah.
got to fucking go.
Yeah. I could see a situation being where like I think I keep almost calling it Woman of Tomorrow. I think Supergirl's film is going to be very much her story, probably an appearance of Superman at either the beginning or the end of it. But I could see it being where like the sequel, which is probably The Last Children of Krypton, will have a lot of
Yeah.
flashbacks to when they first met or when she first came.
I would hope so. I do think David Cornswell will be in the movie, but I think it's gonna be another thing of like he's gonna be in the end, I feel.
Yeah, like a minute at the end. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that. She just throws Crypto back to him, and then that's just how the films go. They keep appearing for a minute at the end of the
Yeah.
next film, so that
Yeah.
Crypto can be in it in their films.
Yeah.
I-
They just
Or
pass
sort
them back and forth.
similar to like she kind of accepts the fact of like maybe I do want to talk about it,
Yeah,
talk about
Mm,
Krypton, and since
yeah.
he's the one that's been asking about it, she just shows up at the fortress and is like, "So do you want to learn more about your parents
Yeah.
and you want to learn more about Krypton? Like I'm ready to
Yeah.
talk about it now. Like we can be like family, actually, like actually cousins."
I would
and
like.
and that's why I think like Brainiac would be so sick for like a sequel movie, like with like two of them, like a character that makes both of those characters have to address the past and like Krypton's history. And I also think the first movie has such a nuance about like fake narratives, and like we're in this world of like what is real and what's not. And I feel like having a character like Brainiac in the like big year of won't be in 2025, but I assume by the time we get a movie, AI and stuff will be even worse, right, than it is
Yeah.
right now.
Probably.
So,
Yeah.
like, I think that is going to be very fascinating. I just think I don't know, just like the marketing with like Brainiac, I think would be so sick. I feel like there's so many
I think
opportunities. you can
it's
use
only a
there.
matter of time because that's like the one villain that everyone keeps asking
Yeah.
for, no matter
Yeah.
what property it is. Like
Yeah.
when it came to like Superman and Lois, every
They
season
almost
someone was
did
like
it.
Brainiac, 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 Brainiac,
They
Brainiac.
had
Like every
plans. They
season.
wanted
I don't
to.
think they
Yeah,
should have had Milton Fine in that goddamn
That
season if they
yeah.
were going to do Brainiac.
I agree.
I don't think
They
should
just
have.
wanted they was like, we have this plan. Let's give us anything. Just give them literally anything to just tease it. But yeah, it was.
Whatever, they shouldn't have because now they
No,
mess
yeah,
with my
shouldn't.
But
heart.
like
Yeah, no,
even
They
I
mess
Supergirl
was
with
had
like, oh,
plans too,
Brainiac.
they
right?
mess with
We're doing
my
Brainiac
heart.
this season. We're doing Brainiac this season.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like I think Supergirl even had like potential plans. They wanted to do something, but they ended up not getting to that, which
Yeah, I was gonna mention
Yeah.
that too, where like a lot
probably
of
for the
people
best.
wanted Brainiac. A lot of people wanted Brainiac for Supergirl, and there was like somewhat talks about Supergirl being yeah, it's just like people always wanted Brainiac. Like that was the one
Yeah.
villain
I
that
thought
everyone
season
keeps
6 was
talking
doing
about.
it. Didn't season 6 have a crazy reference to Brainiac that made me be like, oh shit, are they actually doing him this season? I could have sworn
I
early
don't
on in season
know.
I
I
mean,
6.
we
don't
had the
think
whole like
so.
Brainiac 5 stuff, which I think like
Yeah,
around that
but
was
like,
happening. People were like, oh
but in actual season 6, I remember around when Kara was getting out of wasn't she in the Phantom Zone for the first like 7 episodes of season 6?
Yes.
Remember when she was
Ooh.
getting out of there? I thought there was one big
Ooh.
reference to it that made me go, oh, is he the villain of the season? And then he
yeah,
wasn't.
there was something. I mean, it
Yeah,
would have been
there
better than what
was
we got.
something to it, but yeah,
Yeah.
but it never really went farther
Yeah, it didn't really
than
go anywhere.
that. They were set with making Nixley the main villain of
Yes,
season
yes.
6. So
Wait, do we think the giant interdimensional imp that they were fighting, do we think that was Nixley or Mixie Midlight? Who do
It's
we
Bat
think
Knight.
it was?
It's Bat
that's
Knight.
Yes.
definitely Nix. Oh, Bat
Oh,
Knight.
it's
That's
fine.
what it
Yeah.
was.
Oh,
James Gunn's
alright,
100% doing
cool.
Bat Knight.
Yeah, he's
He is
got it right.
100% doing Bat Knight.
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Nico said, "Could we see Superman versus Lobo in the Superhero movie?"
I don't think so.
I think it
Yeah,
has to
they
be
want it to
Superman.
be
No.
Superman's film. Yeah. So
It would
whenever
be
you got me.
so dope. It
would.
would be
It would.
so dope if we get to see that, but no, I don't think so.
No, I think it has to be her. I think it has to be her. Although I'm very excited to see. Although I would not be shocked if we get Crypto versus Lobo. I can see that.
Yeah. If Grip's in the
Yes, I
film,
would
he's
love
got
to
it
see
right.
that.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Because James Gunn said he could have seen from Superman where Ultraman punched Crypto because it didn't go well with test audiences. There's probably going to be a scene in Superhero where Lobo punches Crypto because it's it's a much more serious film, and it'll be like,
And
oh,
Lobo
shit.
is much more of like a villainous kind of person, whereas like with Ultraman, it's like you later find out that like, oh, that's the clone.
Yeah.
So like people, even though you know it's a clone, it still doesn't feel right. It still doesn't look right.
Right.
I agree.
So
I agree. I could see it going either way. Either Superman 2 or Justice League. I think he could, or I mean, there's nothing saying he couldn't do both technically, right? Like you
Yeah.
have Loki being like
yeah,
Thor,
true.
and he's a big villain. You could just have him to stay away for a while and then come back.
Children of Krypton could be. I mean, we're saying it like it's a confirmed film, but the Superman 2 sequel, Superman and Supergirl, could be more like him in his human form, slowly infiltrating Earth, and then Justice League is when he fully
Sure.
has his
For the man
his
who has
ship and
everything,
everything. Yeah. God,
Yeah,
I would love that. I would love to see that
right?
done in a film.
That'd be a cool
that'd be
sequel.
kind of sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that.
Harrison said crypto cartoon revival is for sure going to happen with the rise of popularity with
Crypto
young.
cartoon was so crypto, the super.
Yes.
I mean, we have a new
Good
one,
show.
right? Like James Gunn announced
Yeah.
a couple months ago that we're getting this like crypto animated series for like
Yeah.
HBO Max. So, which I assume is going to be
Genius.
like a bunch of shorts.
I would
Like
love
I
it.
assume it's going to be like
That's genius. Because didn't Star
Yeah.
Wars do like Young Jedi Adventures or something
Yeah,
like
they
that?
did. Yeah,
It's perfect. It's perfect to
Yeah.
capitalize on it. Keep
Yeah.
it going. Yeah.
can't wait to break
for that.
down every episode of Crypto the Super Dog.
Frame by
It's like-
frame.
Yeah, all the
Yeah,
Easter
reference
eggs.
It's
Karen
essential
said,
part of the viewing
Is
experience.
Cobalt Blue
Oh,
in
of
Crypto?
course.
Find out
Yeah.
next time.
Well, you know what's going to be funny is Crypto. I think will probably be the most appear DCU project or like the most appear
Yeah,
DCU
probably.
character for a while because you'll have
you
Superman,
bet your ass.
Supergirl, and Crypto. Yeah,
You bet your
Cyber Gardner.
ass. I wouldn't have it any other way.
that and Guy Gardner because
Yeah.
Guy will be Superman.
Well,
Lantern.
Hawkgirl's going to be in Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So yeah,
And
he's
Peacemaker
in
then is in
Peacemaker,
Creature
Superman,
Creature
Lanterns.
Commandos.
So
Was
What's
Peacemaker
that?
in Creature Commandos, or was that just like he was just lying?
yes,
there,
he's in
wasn't
like a slight shot. He's in like a little tiny. But like with that logic, you could be like Superman's in there
he?
too.
Superman was in it too. Yeah,
Like there was
that's true.
a Green Lantern. You could say that's Guy Gardner, whatever.
That is true.
Kara said Brainiac was referenced in season 3. I think he was referenced a couple
Oh.
times throughout the run.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was referenced a bunch of times. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. And you also had Indigo in season 1, who was like
we did.
Brainiac
Yeah,
8,
Yeah.
Brainiac 8,
technically.
yeah, which was Laura Vandervoort from Smallville, Supergirl in Smallville.
Yeah, and she also hated filming it.
Yeah. That is true.
Sure. I think Brainiac should be the big bad. I think is what it's supposed to be. For Superman 3, I know budget reasons it wouldn't happen. I mean, I think they could do it if it's a
Wait,
movie
does he mean like
budget.
the old Superman tree? Like the Reeve Superman
Oh, I think
Oh.
Brainiac should have been. I gotcha. Yeah. That makes sense.
tree? Yeah, because it was just evil Superman who was sort of Brainiac, but not Brainiac.
I still haven't done 3
Or not
or 4.
I mean,
I
Bizarro.
haven't brought myself to do those.
Yeah, Bizarro.
Yeah. I'm
And
trying
then
to
you have
think.
the Nuclear Man and
Yeah,
Quest for
Which
Peace,
Nuclear
which
Man
was
was also
really-
the deleted scenes from Superman 4 have an original Bizarro was the original Nuclear Man, and then they cut it completely, so
Mhm.
now it's just the Nuclear Man you get.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're at the
Crazy cool.
2-hour mark, so I do just want to run by a couple of the characters and stuff we haven't mentioned yet, just to make sure we cover everything here. How did you guys feel about Jimmy Olsen? Because I feel like
Best
Jimmy
one.
Olsen's kind of my hot take
Yeah.
of the
Best
movie.
one.
So
He's the
I'm
best
gonna let-
one. He's the best
Okay.
one. He's the best one.
Okay.
He's the best one.
That's
Easily.
character.
Okay.
Easily. Because not
Okay.
only does he look exactly like him, he acts
He does look
exactly
like
like him.
Yeah.
He like when it comes to the Jimmy Olsen comic books, like Superman's best pal Jimmy Olsen,
Yeah.
that is always kind of a running joke, more or less, because Jimmy Olsen's supposed to be a dork. He's supposed to be a nerd, but he keeps getting into these situations where women keep falling in love with him,
Okay.
and they're almost always the villain. They're
Yeah.
almost always the villain. He falls in love with Livewire at one point. Like that was really funny. Like it's
Mhm.
just a recurring joke in the comic books. So I find it really funny that he decided to bring it into the movie because it was
Yeah.
perfect. To be fair, the reason why I think he's the best Jimmy Olsen is just because of like it's a really really low bar.
It is.
Yeah,
Like, we have
I think
have
My
not gotten
Adventures
a
is
good
the
one.
only one I've loved.
and even
Yeah.
I mean, I can't spoil things for Adriel with Smallville. You haven't seen Smallville before this, have you?
I've watched them all. I don't remember, but I do know
Okay.
he dies.
Yeah, but
And
it's like then they
it's
realize it's
technically
not
not
actually
him.
Jimmy. Yeah, it was his
Yeah.
Yeah,
brother.
that was dumb,
Yeah.
dumb as hell.
Yeah.
So the Smallville Jimmy. I really wanted to like the Smallville Jimmy too, and there was a moment where I was going to, and then they killed him off, and I was like, "That's dumb." Um,
Yeah.
uh, my fiance went on a rant about this just the other day, but James Olsen in Supergirl is not James Olsen.
No,
Like it's
No,
just
yeah,
not.
it's not. It's not.
It's like
No.
literally not him at
it's a new
all.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an entirely their own look. You know what? Jimmy might be a metahuman with that riz, honestly,
Yeah, he's
because it's
gotta,
insane.
gotta be. He
But
bites
yeah,
Superman half the time,
the
like how, or not Superman,
yeah,
Supergirl half the time, like how.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he was doing nothing in Supergirl.
Yeah.
Like most of the time, he was doing nothing, and then when he did get a storyline, it was the most ass backwards, most random storyline you could ever
Yeah.
think of. And it's
And
What
just
they
about
like,
would
Lane
never
or
really
commit
Luthor?
to
dumb.
anything. They would
Yeah.
like start a storyline and they would just stop it. And it's like, well, that could
Yeah,
have been cool.
Now he's
but
Guardian. Now he's with Lena Luthor. Now
Oh
he's
God, don't
running
remind me of.
Catgirl.
and
Yeah.
now
Like,
he took the Heron L, and he's part
yeah,
Kryptonian now. And
Yeah.
then decided to go back to reporting and go to like some small town and
yeah,
save it.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
And then he went
what?
back
What
as
are you?
Guardian in like the final episode. So then there's
yeah,
two
yeah.
Guardians, and it's like,
Even though
okay.
that makes sense because he gave her the shield, so I don't know
Yeah.
where he got the second one.
She had a
Um,
better outfit than he did as Guardian.
that's right.
Let's
That's
do that.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Better
then
outfit.
you had because Superman and Lois was still in the beginning of this, like, oh, we don't know if we're in the Arrowverse or not. They didn't
Yeah.
even mention Jimmy for the longest time until the very last
Yeah.
season where you got that one episode. And while I did
I did
like what
like
they
him.
did,
Yeah.
I did like what they did with him and what they decided to do different of like, oh, Superman and him are not that close because of the
Yeah.
secret that he had.
But they are
While I
becoming one
did
now, which I thought was cool.
exactly like I did like the fact that we were getting to see it, but a part of me is just like, but I really would have wanted to see the friendship though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this, and I still technically didn't really get it with this. Like there was
I
that
didn't.
kind
No, I
of
didn't get the
friendship.
one.
No.
Yeah, like there was that kind of friendship, that banter between them, but that was just more of like coworker kind of banter. So I don't know if I just really liked this performance of Jimmy because it's the closest we have ever gotten.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do think the moment we get another appearance of him and he like genuinely becomes best friend with Clark Kent, then it would
Yes.
cement it out of the water. Like it would just blow it out of the water. No Jimmy would ever come close.
I think
Did anybody?
casting wise. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Connor.
I just did anybody notice if he was wearing his Superman signal watch at all in the film? Was he? Did he have that on? No.
He had a watch, but he didn't have.
It didn't
We
look
don't
like
know
it
if
was
it's a
signal watch?
signal.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know.
I
Well,
really.
because we didn't see it open.
Yeah. I really wanted to. I think the casting was incredible. Like I want to say like that actor, top tier casting, amazing. I just. I was down with the whole like him being this like ladies man kind of arc for him. If there was more besides that, right? Because it was that kind of like one trick pony for me, and it was like, okay, that's it. That's the only screen time he has. And then with the Eve Tessmacher thing, I was like, I think they could have done something really cool there. I personally did not like the dynamic they had there, though, because I think I think sometimes James Gunn takes these very serious topics and turns them into jokes, and sometimes it works. In my opinion, in this case, it didn't, and maybe it could have if they lessened down on it. But I think they have this story about like domestic violence, and like Eve Tessmacher is in this very serious situation, and I personally
That's a
dislike.
good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
I personally felt very uncomfortable when it's like, hey, like, you know, once it's out of us, like, can we go out sometimes? And obviously that's not fair to her to put that on him. But also in that situation, I don't like that he's like, well, I don't know, all weekend. Like, I thought that was a bit too much. Like, that was one of those occurrences. I think the humor in this movie works for the most part. But to me, that was one of the moments where I personally didn't resonate with it. I was like, one of them maybe lessen up on a little of that, and kind of makes, to me, Jimmy slightly an unlikable character in some of the aspects of the movie. But I going forward, I'm excited to see what they do with him because that cast is incredible. I need like him and Clark to have more going forward.
I need that Superman's best pal. I need that dynamic.
Superman Best Pals. I need that show. I need the Superman's Best
That
Pals
would be a
show.
great show. I would really like that more than Jimmy Riz.
Because by extension, you can make it a Daily Planet show.
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be curious to see if that show gets greenlit. Like what that is, because like inherently I'm not like I need it. You know, I need more Jimmy Olsen. But I'd be curious if it is Daily Planet or if it is like, you know, some other thing that Jimmy just happens to be a part of, some like cult storyline or something that he happens
It
to
would
be
also be
connected to.
really funny what excuse they would come up with Clark and Lois never showing up
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
in
Like Clark
the
is sick
show.
again.
Like,
That kid's
yeah, it's
always
like
sick.
he's always late. God damn it.
Always late.
I think they could get
Where's
him to do a
Lois?
couple.
And then it's like, where's Lois? It's like Lois is like, Lois is on a 3-month undercover operation somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
she's
think they could get
investigating Moravia or something. I don't know.
I think they
Yeah.
could get them to do some. Like I don't think like I think if it was
No,
announced,
I
I
think
think
they will.
both of
I mean,
them
they're
would
both
be like,
TV
"Oh yeah,
actors
we'll do it."
predominantly.
Yeah,
They both
yeah.
come from TV backgrounds almost.
That's
It's just
right.
now that they're breaking through into film. But like, I think a Jimmy Olsen show would be easier to write, film, and the budget wouldn't be crazy high. You could
Oh
make it
yeah.
like these things. But I think the Mr. Terrific one is probably, if they're probably going to make a Mr. Terrific show, just the Terrifics. But I think
Yeah.
that a Terrific thing would be more likely just based off of the feedback on the film. It feels like everyone's coming out of it
Yeah.
being like Mr. Terrific.
Yeah,
is one
that
of the
was
best
just like a
films
blatant
ever.
reaction.
I think they're going to greenlight that immediately. Like I think within
Yeah.
the next couple months we're going to hear news. Cameron coming up in here with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Cameron. Jimmy
Hey.
Olsen in Supergirl was basically Mal Duncan's guardian.
Yeah.
Literally, yes.
True.
Yeah, absolutely that.
Big true.
Which I don't know why they didn't just do that. It's just whatever. I'll get off the soapbox because I'll rant about this for hours.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Welcome
so
to the
much, Cameron.
Supergirl hour where we talk about the Supergirl TV show and everything it did wrong.
Oh, we could go down that rabbit hole.
8 hours stream, bro.
I'm trying
in a bottle. I would never leave.
Metamorpho also is in this movie.
Yeah,
now,
enjoyed him.
before this,
Carrigan's great.
I going into it, I was not going to pretend like I knew Metamorpho. Like I wasn't like, oh boy, he's my favorite. Like I don't have much exposure with him outside of maybe a couple of things here and there. But I love that actor. I love Barry. I love Gotham. Like I love him as an actor. So I was very.
He was in the Flash, the TV show.
He was in the Flash.
He was on the
Mist,
Flash.
right?
I missed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did we feel about that character?
I liked him.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had doubts because of who the actor is. Like, I really liked him in Barry. I liked him when he was on The Flash. I liked him when he was on Gotham, especially.
Yeah,
like, I there was never a moment where I was disappointed with his performance. I was just more disappointed that I didn't get to see more of him. So the fact that I got to see him in another superheroic role where he got a decent amount more screen time, or at least more importance to the role, like to the plot of itself.
Yeah.
I think he knocked it out of the park. What shocked me is that, again, as the comic book nerd, I am not a big reader when it comes to Metamorpho. Like, I'm not reading Metamorpho comics left and right. So when I saw he had his kid, I was like, oh, that's a nice little thing that James Gunn created to
Baby
like
Joey.
invoke. Yeah, like I was like, oh, that's a nice little thing to invoke like some empathy for Metamorpho to make him sympathize with him, give him a little bit of backstory. I didn't realize that was a comic book thing. Yeah, like that was a
Metamorpho's
comic book
iconic son, Baby Joey. That. Everybody knows Baby Joey.
I honest to God was so shocked because I thought he invented it. I was like, no, that's a comic book thing. I was like, what? That's insane.
There was so much like Joey. I don't know how much you saw on this, Connor, but like I was on so many streams like when
people tell him like die, like kill the baby.
When those
I saw a lot of that stuff.
I didn't see, but like I didn't know what it was for like the longest time, but like we just saw these like merch toys and merch drops and posters that like Baby Joey, and I was like, what the fuck is Baby Joe? I was like, what the hell is this fucking thing? Is this some like Young Sheldon Friends spinoff of Joey? Like, what the heck is this thing?
Remember before Aquaman 2 came out and everybody was like, oh, I better see Black Manta kill that child in Aquaman 2. I saw a lot of that for
Joey.
This, where people were like, oh, the early test screenings for Superman came back, can confirm that Baby Joey dies when they're in the pocket dimension in that big river. I was like, Jesus. I was like, okay.
Whoa.
And it was funny, yeah. I mean, I was surprised. He was one of the few things I was surprised in the film about, because he was one of the parts that wasn't really spoiled at all. I feel like we get the one shot of him in the trailers that was
Yeah.
used a lot. We have the one poster for him, but even in interviews, I feel like James Gunn didn't really talk about Metamorpho a whole lot, and we didn't see really anything of him. So I didn't expect him to. I'd expect him to be a character that would team up with Superman at some point in the film. But I didn't expect him to be somebody who was a semi-antagonist, yeah, a sympathetic antagonist, but a semi-antagonist at first, where he was the one who was using his kryptonite element to keep Clark trapped. Like, I didn't expect that to be the direction the story took. And I also was surprised how, I guess, I mean, I'm familiar with Anthony Carrigan's voice, but I was surprised how light and soft his voice was. I was expecting him to put on a bit more of a gravelly sounding voice for it. So that was interesting.
Yeah, it's just kind of him, which
Yeah.
I like, because I think his voice is like, I kind of think he's like one of my favorite, like, he's not a voice actor, but like I think his voice in acting is one of the most like, oh yeah, that's him. He has such a unique voice. So I think for like something like that, it worked very well.
Great.
And it was all practical. Like it looked really,
it looks
cool.
really good.
It was really good.
He had some really good effects and takedowns where he turned into that gas thing and just spread it on all of the Planet Watch dudes.
The scene with like him like creating the like sun inside the little chamber, and it was like, stop him, like that's like, okay, this is sick as hell, this is awesome. But yeah, no, like I thought he was good. I kind of wanted, I craved a bit more, because I enjoyed it, so like of course I wanted a bit more from him, but I assume we're going to get that in future stuff. I think we'll
Justice League International, baby.
Yeah,
please.
I hope we're gonna get Justice League International. I need that. Yeah,
that'd be cool. Hawkgirl is another character that has got a little bit of criticism from people over the last couple weeks.
Could have seen more from her.
I was kind of neutral on Hawkgirl. I was fine with what we got, but out of all the characters, I was like, yeah, I don't think we needed her in here, but it's all about the world building of it all. So
yeah, I was so neutral. I was shocked that people like were criticizing her, and I was just like, she was barely in it. How do you already have an opinion?
What is there to criticize? Yeah,
like all she did was just fly and scream around. She's better than Kendra from Legends of Tomorrow. You want her again, the barista?
Yeah,
like, those are your two options that you got for live action. It's either going to be her, the girl who screams all the time, or the girl who always whines about her being a barista.
The girl who kills the president of a dictatorish country, or the one from The Flash and Legends who was,
a barista.
A barista.
Yeah. I don't think you knew that, but she was a barista.
wait, what was she? I don't think I.
A barista. A barista.
Yeah. I didn't hear you. Sorry.
I don't remember.
A barista. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I do wonder if there's going to be consequences for those actions, because that's a serious thing. Right? Like that is she killed the leader of a country. Like that is a big thing. So I do wonder if that will are we doing like an anti-metahuman arc eventually, and that kind of the spark of it.
And her next movie's gonna be, or her next appearance is gonna be Peacemaker.
Do something in that.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to talk about it. I think James Gunn literally says like, you'll kind of understand the through line or what the story where we're going with it when Peacemaker season 2 comes out.
Yeah.
So I was just like, ooh, maybe Hawkgirl might have to like lay low. Maxwell Lord might have to do some political moves, some bureaucratic kind of moves to keep her aside or something like that.
Yeah.
I think those characters are going to be a bigger part than I originally thought. Like
I watched an interview earlier, and he said they were regulars.
I heard that too, which kind of makes me a lot more excited. Yeah, like that makes me already like that makes Peacemaker season 2 almost like a spin-off of Superman, and that already makes me like, well, all right, let's
season 2. We need to stop calling it season 2.
It is though. I hate it, but it is.
Let it go, James Gunn. Let it go. It's not season 2. Just start
Peacemaker Reborn.
Just start
I don't know if he means regulars. Does he mean regulars in like old network television regulars where
like
you
series
have to
regular?
be in,
they're in every episode. There's no way.
Almost every,
right?
Or does he mean regular in just they're a regular part of the DC unit where you can expect to see them show up a lot? I don't know. Superman made me way more excited for Peacemaker season 2 than I was. I'm like 10 times more excited now than I was.
I feel bad.
I was not going to watch it.
No,
I feel bad because like I loved season 1. I did. But I feel like I've shit on the show so much in the last 2 years just because I'm not a fan of how they're doing these, bringing characters over, and I think it's really tarnished my vision of it a little bit. But I will say, we had that Peacemaker cameo, and at first I was like, why would they bring Peacemaker on live television? He doesn't know what he's talking about. And then this same week, we had like Dean Cain get on camera and was saying all this bullshit. I was like, you know what? Same thing. It's the same kind of shit. So it's like, it is realistic. People on like TV bring idiots on all the time who don't know what the fuck
All
they're
the
talking
time.
about.
Yeah.
So
All the time.
it kind of works there. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
Me too.
Guy Gardner also, I feel like we kind of brushed over him a little bit. I liked him. I did. I wasn't sure how I was
That's
going to feel
great.
about him. I guess he was less unlikable than I thought it'd be. Like, I guess like Guy Gardner, I usually assume to be like the
Obnoxious,
he's still a dick, but like I found him to be like a really likable dick here. I enjoyed his
I'm
presence.
sure he's gonna be
so-
a whole lot worse on the show.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
probably he's put there with other Green Lanterns, and he's faced with the fact that Hal
Oh my
Jordan and John Stewart are
God.
much better Lanterns than him. He's
Yeah.
going to be the worst. But like, I kind of agree. Where I expected to hate him more than I did. But like, there was that scene inside the Hall of Justice where Lois is trying to like rally the Justice Gang to help him out, and he's like, "Is Superman sent here to take over? I don't know, but I can
Probably
make that."
not.
Yeah, he's like, I don't
Yeah.
know, probably not, but I can't make that call. The Green
Yeah.
Lantern Corps has made sure not to get involved in politics. You know, we don't need the U.S. government coming after the Justice Gang. And I was like, this is a really great scene. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm loving, Nathan Fillion's acting here. I'm loving the dialogue. I'm loving
I like
the
their
back
casting
and
a
forth
lot.
conversation. I was like, this is hitting a lot harder than I thought it would with this character.
I also
Mhm.
like, and I'm curious to see what they do with him going forward, but like I really like the fact that he makes up the rules as he goes. Like anything he doesn't
Yeah.
want to do, he just
It's like
hides
he's
it like
survived.
under this oath.
Yeah.
And
It's
that
both.
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense actually. Like because like it's like having law enforcement, but no one knows what the law within that is, so he can just do
Yeah.
whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, because
And-
like, what is the Green Lantern Corps? Like,
yeah,
we know what
Brightest
it
day
is
and blackest
because
night.
it's like
because we
if you
know.
say so,
But
I
it's like
guess.
in
Normal
that
people know.
world, you just
Yeah.
hear someone say like, "Oh, I'm a Green Lantern. I'm part of the whole Green Lantern Corps." I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like, what is that?
It's like, can I see your Green Lantern ring? I don't have it with me right now. How do I know you're part of the Green Lantern Corps? I took an oath. That's why. It's like,
Yeah,
it's funny. You just do whatever you want. That feels very Guy Gardner-ish. I love that.
it does.
Yeah, he did really really good. I also was expecting him to dislike him a whole lot more, but I guess I could just be the fact of like it's Nathan Fillion playing
Yeah.
him,
I like
and
Nathan Fillion,
he
yeah.
knows how to do it. He knows
Yeah.
how to be a douche, but not to the point where it's like I really don't want to see this guy on my screen
Yeah.
anymore.
Which
Yeah.
is probably the great happy medium because you don't want people to not want to see him, right? Like you want people
Exactly.
to potentially, like he's gonna be in Lantern, he'll probably be in, he's gonna be in Peacemaker. I would
Yeah.
not be shocked if someday we get some kind of spot or something with him where he runs on his own or something,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes
Exactly,
sense.
yeah.
I think it's a good happy
I think
medium
that'll be-
there.
Whatever Justice Gang project is, I think it'll be heavily focused on Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And even the like Mr. Terrific project, I would not be shocked if they just threw Hawk Girl and Green Lantern in there just to be like, at least to show kind of how they founded and stuff like that. Like what is his history with this team and
Like, how long have
Where
they been
did he come
active? Do we know
from?
that?
yeah,
Yeah.
I
How
don't-
much are they getting paid? Because they're a corporate superhero team.
That's true as well.
right? Yeah,
They're rich.
That could easily be a conversation where Guy Gardner's like, wait, you guys are getting paid more than I am?
yeah. But also,
That'd
like
be funny.
I also think that's such an interesting like depiction from Superman and the other heroes. Like Superman does it because he needs to, and it's what's right. They're doing it
Yeah.
because they're getting paid, and it's a job for them. And
Yeah.
I
Like-
love. Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead, Connor. Sorry.
I could see that being something that's really cool. Like when Lanterns comes around, is like Hal and John are like, "Fuck you, guy! You're getting paid to be a Green Lantern. Essentially, we don't want to associate with you. Like we're
Right.
doing this
Yeah.
because we're protecting Earth, not because
Mhm.
some douchebag Maxwell Lord is paying us."
And if it
Right.
comes down, like I'll be very curious, like when we do Justice League, and he's like Clark going down the list of all the people, maybe he wants to add in. He might look
Yeah.
at Guy and be like, I don't know. I don't know if that's who I want. But maybe Jon Stewart. Oh, but I will say I'm gonna call this now, and this is like a Hail Mary shout. I think Mr. Terrific is in the OG7.
Yeah, I think he is too.
Ooh.
I think he is.
You
I
know
think-
what? You're probably right.
Like
I doubt
just
we're
the way
getting
they like
Martian Manhunter or
interacted
Aquaman.
in here, whereas like because like out of all of them, Mr. Terrific was doing it because he actually like cared about what was going on. It's like, okay, I need
You're
to
right.
figure this out, and
Mhm.
I feel like they're going to want to do that like Justice League the animated series lineup, but I think there's going to be like one like
Yeah.
different to make it separate. I I could see him like, you know, you typically have your cyborg. I could see like Mr. Terrific instead of your cyborg kind of character. Yeah. Could be cool.
I'm kind of
Save
sick
some
of
money that way.
Cyborg, so I would not be like I would be happy if we took a sidestep of Cyborg being on the Justice League and we instead put him in the
Teen
team.
Titans. Yeah. Yeah.
Agreed.
For sure. I mean, I feel like there's so much we haven't covered yet, but like, is there anything that we haven't mentioned yet that you guys really want to get off your chest and like really want to talk about?
I kind of covered everything I had, like I loved, and everything I had a slight issue with. I mean, it's a 5 out of 5 film for me. I think it, you know, that first cinema experience was one of my favorite cinema experiences of all time. Like I don't know. I was so excited for the film for the past 3 years since we know about it. Since Man of Steel, since we've constantly been hearing that we're going to get a Superman sequel someday, and then that turning into this. There's been so many times I've just wanted a new Superman film, and it just gave me everything I wanted. I think, like I felt all of the
Agreed.
emotions.
I was not expecting. I was kind of going back and forth with the whole universe with that James Gunn was doing. Because at first I was all in, and then I was just like, I don't really like what he's announcing, or like how fluid everything kind of seems to be. But then this kind of really sold me. I'm like, okay, no, I'm in it. I think this movie was pretty much all I've asking. Like, even if I tried to find a complaint about it, I really don't care about it that much to make a complaint. Like, I genuinely really did love pretty much everything I saw in this film. I think this is the first time in a really long time where like we actually got a comic book film.
Yes.
Right? Because probably the reason why I was never really that into the MCU is that they always try to water down the comic book elements enough to cater to the mass audience, which I get. I understand that. But Superman it just didn't do that. And it really just embraced the fact of like, oh no, this is silly, this is goofy, and you're going to accept it, and you're going to accept it, and we're going to move on. And I liked that because it definitely kind of got to a point, especially now we got so many Marvel movies, where it's getting to a point now where it's like you're not even writing the movie assuming that we're not watching, like we're not reading comic books. You're writing the movie that assuming that we fucking hate comic books and everything about it, and we just want a generic action movie with some superheroic elements. Whereas with Superman, very much embraced the fact of like, no, we are a Superman comic book film, and I think that's probably why I like the Arrowverse so much. Where even though they did take some creative liberties with it, they still managed to keep that vibe, that whimsical vibe of what you get reading a comic book, and they embraced a lot of the more niche, the more goofier stuff sometimes. And this was genuinely the first time where we saw a film just went all in. There was really nothing that they took out and be like, people are not going to accept that. They really,
Agreed. I think like that was my biggest takeaway, because to me it wasn't like a flawless movie. It wasn't like, for me personally, that this like 10 out of 10 movie. But what my big takeaway of it is like, this is the kind of superhero movie I've been dreaming of for years. This movie that feels like it's like right off the pages. It's so proud to embrace kind of where it comes from. It's colorful. It's bright. It's willing to just do these massive like set pieces that feel like something I could dream of. Like, I love how much of this movie is just spent with Clark saving people. It's like Clark like stopping, like saving people and saving a squirrel and stopping this kaiju and, you know, doing all this stuff. And it feels like people bringing up like Superman, the animated series, and it definitely feels like that Timverse, feels like the Arrowverse, feels like what I love about Stargirl, what I loved about like the like Suicide Squad movie from James Gunn. It kind of feels like these elements of all this cross the DC lore and like the DC worlds, and kind of it works as such a good foundation for what's to come. And again, I'm excited to see these various tones and these styles, but I think this is such a good starting point to be like, okay, maybe not everything is perfect, but you could do literally anything going forward from here, and I think it works within this world.
I agree completely. I think that we're gonna. It feels like the best beginning to a wider universe that we've seen, where it doesn't feel like we're being dropped into something that's messy and hard to follow. It feels like we're being dropped into something that has been completely realized. There's so much written and known about it already that, like, behind the scenes, they know what they're doing. There's really a sense that this is all going to lead to something, that all these characters
Yeah.
that we're hearing mentions of, we're going to learn more about, that nothing's going to feel left behind. I think the only thing I would maybe say feels like a little bit like it could be left behind is the engineer's inclusion in this film. Not that I dislike the character, just that I think her in this film was supposed to be a tease for the Authority, which feels like
Yeah.
a project we're probably not going to get at
Yeah.
least anytime soon.
I know, like, they kind of just throw her in here. I know nothing about what she is or what she does. She's kind of just this character that's in here, and like very similarly to like a Hot Girl for me, where it's like I didn't necessarily need her in here, but also
at least
like
we know we're getting Hot Girl soon, like very soon. We're not getting the
Yeah.
engineer anytime
And
soon.
I also had a sort of like a baseline, more or less,
Yeah.
of what Hot Girl kind of was because of the
Sure.
animated series.
No, she
Like
is
even
right.
before the Arrowverse, the animated series. Whereas with the engineer, the only basis I have for it was like that, like she was in like the Flash season 4, but she was
Yeah.
like not like the
Yeah,
the
Was she
comics
really?
apparently. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was.
Marley DeVoe.
Yeah,
That was the engineer.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like that
Okay.
was supposed to be her, but she was
Jesus.
apparently not like what she is in the comic books. I don't read
Right,
the
right, right.
Authority, so I have no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
But yeah, I probably would agree where she was like, I probably would have cut her out just because she kind of
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Yeah.
But
I do like the scene where she's infecting Clark, and so he flies up into the sky and does the
Yeah.
giant drop down, and then Lex is like, "No, like get out of there! None of you
Yeah.
are protected. Only he is." That felt like a very comic booky scene. I like that a lot.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
guys also, because I feel like we didn't really mention it. What do you guys think of the final act Clark versus like Lex scene? He has his like big old dialogue of like that's what you don't understand. Like I'm human just like all of us, and Crypto coming in and like chewing him up. Like what was your
one of
take
my
on that
slight
whole
things
thing?
with that is I do think Clark should have been more Crypto. Stop doing that now. Stop attacking,
Yeah.
beating up Lex, because I feel like that was for humor purposes. And I was like, I would like Clark to be a little bit more adverse to hurting Lex.
I was not like. I love that speech. I love the whole thing. Like like Clark just like I love all that stuff. That was brilliant. I was not a fan of the Crypto scene though. Like I thought that, like you said, it was done for comedy, and I do think it to me threw off the like tone and the pace of that scene. And it like each time kind of pissed me off. Like, oh, that was so good. That was so good. No, don't don't do that. Like it's funny. Obviously, like I'm loving all the like edits people are doing of Crypto, and he's getting thrown. Like that's funny. But that is a scene I would have been like, maybe cut that part out for me personally. But
I agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that scene, I was just like, corniness is back. It's like for the longest time we have been sort of like taught in a lot of movies where like you can't be corny, you can't be cheesy, that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And this movie really was just like, no, we're gonna be that. We're gonna lean into that. We're gonna have this. We're gonna have this speech that Superman has to Lex Luthor, which if you really want to be nitpicky with the dialogue, sure, maybe isn't the best written because it's so direct. No person would ever talk like that. But I didn't care. Like it was such a powerful scene. It was a powerful moment. I think it really did a very good job of explaining how different their point of views are, and that Lex Luthor was making it very clear that not only am I gonna be focusing on myself and only myself, because he was the first one that was trying to leave, but it kind of cements the fact of like he's doing this out of genuine hatred for the guy, whereas Superman is kind of like, I'm gonna stop you if you get out of line, but I don't hate you. Like even after everything you've done, I still don't hate you, and I hope that one day we will be on the same side. And I think that was nice. Sure, the Crypto thing did kind of like it was a bit of a comedic moment. It did kind of undercut the scene a little bit, but it kind of made it clear that Lex Luthor was gonna double down in that moment. Like that speech was not gonna change him whatsoever. He's still gonna go to Belle Reeve and still become an even worse piece of shit than he already is. Like it's just gonna be a downward spiral from here on out.
Agreed. And like I do really, and I know it's not the first one to do this, but like I do really like the scene where it's like, I hate you because you exist. Like these people work their
Yes.
entire life to be among the greats, and you just get to fly down and do it on a single day. No, fuck that, fuck you. And like I love that he's like, yes, I know I'm this petty, jealous man. I don't care. I do not care. This is how I feel, and I'm okay with that. And I think that was like this Lex at its peak. And again, I'm excited to see where it develops to. Like where are we possibly going to take him next? Is going to be fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, this is great. Great Lex. Enjoyed it. And I think the dynamic between him and Clark is going to be even more interesting in the future. Might not surpass the Smallville Clark Lex dynamic for me, but I think, you know, if we get even one more film, it's going to easily be the best Clark Lex in films for me.
And like I think with Smallville though, it is also like a different dynamic
50
though
plus
too.
episodes.
Yeah, no, it's a lot.
like you like Lex not as a villain necessarily, but as a character, because he is just a character for most of that show.
He never gets to even be a villain really in Smallville, like fully to Clark.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was gonna say that, where it's like you get, not only do you introduce him as like a good person in the beginning, a good person who just can't seem to let go of what happened in that car accident, but there always is some sort of thing that kind of restrains him from being full on Lex in that show, just because the show still wants you to have some sort of empathy for him.
You want to sympathize with him, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But I think with that being said, that does bring us to the end of today's episode.
I do have
boys,
one last question.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
What is the one upcoming project that you're most excited for?
That's a good question.
It's either Lanterns or Supergirl. I don't know if I can pick between. It's Supergirl. It's
Supergirl for me. That's for me. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I guess depending if Teen Titans is still on the table. Because if Teen Titans is, I love those characters. I love what they're doing.
I was doubting this whole slate from the very beginning, but this movie really did make me be like, you know what? I have faith. It'll work out. It'll work out.
I think things that are like apparently happening. I think Lanterns is up there for me, and Wonder Woman is apparently being like fast tracked.
Yeah, they're fast tracking
DC
that,
Studios. So that is another character that I think is like I think very similar to like Superman in their like mentalities, but I think that's a demographic of people that Wonder Woman needs to be reached, and in a way that I think I don't know has ever fully been reached. Like I love that first movie, but I feel like there's stuff there that needs to be unpacked. So, but yeah, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for joining me today. This was an absolute blast and an honor. I always love chatting with you guys. So let's do our where can we find you segment. Connor, I know you've slowly kind of been getting back into the YouTube space. Is there anything you want to shout out, promo, any videos you got coming up?
Nothing at the moment. No, probably soon. I didn't want to do a review on Superman. I'll see, but it's getting a bit late now. Hey, look, it's Brandon Wright Superman Returns. So maybe some Star Trek Strange New World season 3 just started, so maybe something on that as well. But yeah, just over on YouTube. That's kind of it for me.
Amazing.
Nice.
Adriel, I know you're not as much in the space anymore, but is there anything you want to shout out, promo, any just things you want to shout out, period?
I'm on TikTok and Instagram at Adriel the author. I'm actually, hopefully soon, will live up to the author part of my name.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
I'm trying, but
hell yeah.
I got all these comic books to read, so it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard.
I get it.
Oh yeah.
You have Woman of Tomorrow peeking out in the back here.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, is that the inspiration for the hit project Lanterns that's coming out next year?
Yep, Superman Smashes the Klan. That's the one.
Oh hell yeah!
Let's go.
There's hold on. I think there's one in the very back that's a Lois Lane comic book. Lois Lane, Enemy of the People.
I think I read that one. Yeah,
that one. It's a really good one. Yeah, but
yeah, no. Thank you everyone for watching. Promo for stuff for the week. After the credits, Monday we're continuing with Dexter Resurrection. Probably a bunch of other fun stuff. That's all I have on the docket, but I bet we'll talk about some other fun stuff as well. And then Pipeline next Thursday. A couple friends of mine are forcing me to watch all the like Disney zombie movies, so we're gonna be doing Disney zombies next week.
Disney zombie all movies?
The like Disney Channel DCOM Disney zombie movies. So that's going to be a fun transition off of Superman. Very drastically different, but that should be fun. So
Have
join
fun
me
with
there.
that.
And yeah, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I will see y'all on the flip side.